Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fourth annual DudaCon. This is the 2025 DudaCon conference. I'm so excited to welcome everyone. We've got folks already in the chat from all over the world. We've got UK, France, London, Florida, Texas. If you've let us know where you're coming from. I'm calling in here from Denver, Colorado, and we've got some great folks on the call with us today, which I'll introduce in a second here. Um, yeah, so I'll just give you a quick overview of what we're going to be doing today. So today is the first day of our 3-day DudaCon conference with the theme of Shape Your Future, Reimagine What's Possible in Web Building. So we have 3 amazing sessions today. This first one is on the SEO and discoverability game in 2025, and then we'll do another session on AI and GA4 in a second, and then our founders keynote will be after that. So very excited to welcome you all here. And I'd like to introduce our speakers for today as well. So we've got Tomek Rudzki. Do you want to say hi and let us know where you're coming from today, calling from today?
Hello, everybody. So I'm coming from Wrocław, Poland.
Awesome. We've also got Aleda Solis here with us today.
Hello, everybody. Very looking forward for our today's session. It's great to be able to share with all of you today.
Excellent. And we've got Michael King as well.
Greetings and salutations, folks. I'm broadcasting live from Brooklyn, New York City, and excited to be here.
Yeah, this is awesome. Super excited to kick this off. And obviously, we've got some of the best and brightest in the SEO industry here with us today. So I'm going to hand it over to Tomek to get started, and we'll go from there. Tomek, are you ready to share your screen? And
Yes. So we need, yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, we need to go to slide number 1. Okay. Welcome, everybody. So everybody now is asking, is SEO dead? So let's check. So when we look at Google Trends, we can see that it was trending at least 7 times in the past 5 years, with at least 5 times in the previous half year. So something is happening. And from Greek mythology, the phoenix cycle. It's a mythical bird that it's known for its cyclical life and death. So it's always getting killed, and then it's reborn from the ashes, and then the cycle going next. And I think that something similar is happening on LinkedIn, on any other place that everybody is talking about. Is SEO dead? So people are saying, yes, SEO is dead, and then not yet. So I think that cycle is coming all the time. And what we know is that search has changed. That's for sure. And for me, as a person who was driven by curiosity of SEO, I know one thing, that the only constant is change itself. And then we all remember, okay, maybe I don't remember that much because I didn't have internet at that time. But Google at the very beginning was very pure search engine, no weather, no search news, no links to sponsor. And it was I was trying to get something as close as possible to that experience. So I was just skip the ads, and I was able to see the top blue links. But now it's not gonna happen anymore. So what is happening now is that we get direct answers from AI search engines, AI overviews, AI mode, ChatGPT, Perplexity. So people ask questions, and then AI assistants are giving the answers, right? And now there are 3 types of SEOs. First, that kind of SEO is saying, it's still SEO, we are fine. I mean, oh, that's a bold shot. As another type of SEO is that we need to evolve. And the third type of SEO is that it's totally different, and it's no longer SEO. And I think that I'm definitely not the first one, But I think that there is too much fear among SEOs about uncertainty of future of SEO and all the stuff happening. So that's why I created that presentation to discuss about these fears and then trying to digest into them like step by step to see maybe that fear is not that scary as it is. So let's see how it goes. So the first thing that we need to understand is the middleman revolution that is happening right now. Before we had direct connection with our customers, so they were able to visit our website and then get informed decision about buying from our website or no. Now it's no longer direct connection between us and our clients. It's AI assistant that it's staying in the middle and then asking, like getting information from the clients and then giving them answer. And the problem is that it's not our paid assistant that is giving answers only about our brands, but that assistant is giving the answer based on all our competitors and based on our selling. So that's the problem, that we need to compete now with not only with our competitors, but also about all the stuff it's happening right now. So there should be a mindset shift for SEOs, because this is one, like the biggest change in search engines since the very beginning, since 1998. And traditional SEO was based on ranking website high and waiting for visitors to click through, right? That was very easy. I mean, quite easy to get to the top, especially in the old days of SEO. But now we need to ensure that AI systems accurately represent our business when people ask relevant questions. So it's like training a salesman to understand if their knowledge is like, if they know all about our products, if they know what are the pros, okay, maybe not cons, but if they know about pros of our service, if you ask about, okay, what are the best companies that do something? And then you check their knowledge. Okay, if they say something good about your brand or not. And if not, then we try to understand why. And that's the biggest shift right now. And now we can talk about our biggest fears. So fear number one is AI search is completely different. And that made people think, okay, SEO is dead now. So I was looking into data at ZipTide data, and then I noticed that there is quite high correlation between ranking in traditional search results and appearance in AI search. So if you rank number one in traditional Google, you have 25% of chances to be included in AI search. And I came up with idea that success in AI search depends on 3 factors. So the foundation is traditional ranking. Then you need to create relevant content because of passage ranking, because of all the stuff is happening. And then some other ranking signals that are, I would say, specific to a given AI search engine. It could be AI overviews, AI mode, ChatGPT, Perplexity. And then we got information from Google's documentation. So it seems that both AI overviews and AI mode, they're rooted in the core search quality and safety systems that Google was refining for 20 years. So that gave like strong confirmation that not only about my correlation study, but it's also based on Google's documentation that it works this way. And fear number 2 is that AI search kills SEO. So when we think about this, like when I ask, let's say a given query, like what are the 5 stages of the user journey? And then I get the answer from Google. And from that point of view, I don't need to research more. Like I get that information, I don't need to read the whole website. From this perspective, like my intent, my need is like fully fulfilled in that sense. So I can feel for publishers that have traffic loss, but this is something that is happening, and then we need to try we need to try our way to how to bypass these limitations. Of course, we can push on Google, hey, like you cannot go into news, and I know that there are some initiatives coming, but also if we are not publishers, if we are, let's say, SaaS companies, if we are business owners, business representatives, then we need to find our way how to stay successful. And then this is what I try to do, is that this is one of the examples. Tally is form generation software, and now the biggest acquisition channel for them is ChatGPT. I guess it's still Google, but they cannot track it properly. This is another story. But yeah, they noticed that ChatGPT is the biggest acquisition channel, and then they noticed, okay, this is great, because like this is the way for people to find about the services and then start using this, right? And then I noticed that in Google's documentation, Google was saying that they could be fewer clicks, but those clicks are higher quality. And I know that many people from SEO starting to laugh, because how it's possible, like Google was lying. I cannot say for 100% that Google is not lying, but there could be some logic behind this, especially in the way how people search, and then how we can get closer to their real intents. I will discuss this in a minute. AI search allows us to get multiple touch points with customers. So we can go into like every stage of buyer journey. While traditional SEO was mostly focused on just some of the stages, mostly about informational research, because that was the highest search demand. So everybody was approaching this. Like a click was a click. So like if we notice, okay, there was like uplift in our search traffic, that was good. But nobody was thinking about if that click was valid. I mean, if that click was getting into leads, into product selling, they were just focusing on getting more traffic in that sense. Now we can get closer to buying decision, and then if somebody else asks, okay, what's the best enterprise SEO agency? What's the best form generation software? What's the best form generation software for beginners or with GDPR RODO in Europe, right? And then we can get the answer. Then clients can get the answer, and then it's very close to their buying decision, because when they click, they already, I would say, pretty certain about a given choice. So I would say, in that sense, what Google wrote in the documentation can be valid to specific point. And we have to be careful with search demand, because like I had a personal beef with search demands in Google Search Console and then outside tools, because I noticed that when I look only about search demand, I miss lots of keywords, lots of valid topics that are not included. And I think that this is also happening with AI search, because traditional SEO and then AI search will tell you that safety has zero search demand. It's like below 100 checks in 1 month, 100 searches per 1 month. And it's not true, because Ford sells like 2 million of cars every year. While, okay, we are not asking, when we want to buy a new car, we don't ask for safety. We just say, hey, I want to buy a car for family. Yesterday I had an accident and then I need a new car, or things like this. Like, we don't ask for safety. We have like full conversation that safety is the implied need. And any of the tools cannot properly capture that implied need. So that's why I have a beef with search demand. And this is something that we need to understand, that it's not only about search demand, but it's also about implied needs. And then basically trying to understand that customer journey. And yeah, later, if you know more about, if you want to know more about AI search versus traditional SEO, you can read the article by LA De Solis. By the way, LA, congratulations on this article. And then there was a query fan out mode. I know, Mike, you did extensive research on this, so also congratulations. But I think that many people try to digest too deep into that topic, and then spend lots of time on this, trying to understand the nuances, why they can start with very basic steps and then go deeper if it's needed. So my idea is that, so of course, like AI search uses query fan out. So this is something like, okay, they try to understand what subtopics are within this query. So like, what is Timu could be like, first, what is Timu? If it's safe, I guess proper pronunciation is Temu. Okay, if it's safe, who is the owner of Temu, and things like this. And yeah, my approach to AI mode and then query fan out is to try to understand the answer from AI mode. So here I can say, okay, first question, what is Temu? Second, key features, and then potential concerns. So then I try to understand the real answer from that search engine and trying to understand, okay, what these questions are. And then I can try to edit my content to fit into the expected answer. And then also I can ask basic prompt to Gemini and get, okay, this is my content. What could be the implied needs of the users? So I gave that information. So if I give only what is Timu, which could be like the direct answer to that question, then it's not enough. It could be like, you need to fill all this stuff to make your content comprehensive, right? So it's not only about like now AI SEO, it's about creating content that the real users need. So it's not AI search, it's also about traditional SEO as always, right? And then we can compare all these questions with AI mode and then what we got from Gemini. And we can see that lots of questions from like our prompt are appearing here. Maybe a coincidence, maybe not. You can try it on your own. Same for Perplexity. You have like similar questions in the logic, so you can see. For ChatGPT, you have extension. This is like bookmarklet by Mike Friedman. You can use this, and then there is another field. Like AI search is fully semantic, so now like people are lost. So I can understand this, but knowledge graph was like first semantic thing, 2012. Then neural matching, I guess it was like 2015, BERT 2018, and then published 2019, RankBrain 2015. So like, I mean, SEO, semantic SEO was part of SEO since 2012 to 2015, I would say. So that's not that huge change as people say, at least in my opinion. So AI will be completely personalized. Yes, I think that could be the problem because like chat can get our history, and then based on that history they can generate the answer. And I can already see that, especially in ChatGPT, but there could be like quite easy answer. Like you can ask specific prompts and trying to like capture the context. So like, for bicycle lovers, nature lovers, adventure seekers, holiday opinions. Of course, it's like not one-to-one, but still kind of approximation that can take that fear out of your SEO strategy, right? And AI mode will be default, blue links will be dead. So this is something that if this will happen, then that Google Trend chart will go like crazy in just one day. If it happen, let's see. So we can't know this if Google will delete blue links. Then who can know this? And I think that neither Larry Page, Liz Reed, and Sundar cannot know this because, like, let's see. Google is not crazy. Like, they need to get feedback from all the users, from all the generations of users, and then once they get the feedback, they will port some of the features from AI mode to classic Google search result. This is their plan. They cannot just cut their business. And of course, I can't guarantee that blue links will stay, but I can offer you like basic understanding of their business, because this is something that I like to do anytime. Like, they developed blue links for like 20 years. And now when they cut this off, then we'll burn their mode, right? From ChatGPT. So they become in ChatGPT. And then now they're like 90+%, and then they will get to 50-50. So that's not the ultimate goal for their business. Of course, AI answers don't suit every query. So of course, like if you type iPhone, you don't want to get the summary what is iPhone from AI overviews, right? Many people hate AI. Ask Barry Adams. People still want blue links. So yeah, I think I cannot guarantee that it will not happen anytime, but I can offer you like that kind of analysis that it's very unlikely that it will happen. So I think that like when I was trying to debunk that fears and then trying to get this, like trying to make you more comfortable, I think that AI is also a huge opportunity for SEO. So first of all, you can optimize for AI search, and this is something that I didn't announce yet. I will do it tomorrow or in 2 days. But you can click optimize for any query that you check in ZipTie. Then watch carefully, because we'll see if it's about traditional SEO or it's about AI search. So now we help you improve your content by like giving better answers for users' questions, right? So this way you will see, okay, I need to improve my answer for this question and the others. Then we improve EEAT. So like if it's a new concept, then tell me. But I think that Lily Ray was like telling about EEAT for ages now. I mean, she's not that old, but she's like very expert into this topic. And then that was part of SEO since at least a couple of years, right? Yeah, and then we also give you some ideas about how, okay, like for outreach, and then you also have some ideas about which content you have to edit, because you already know that, okay, this article like tally versus typeform is used in like very frequently by AI search. So now you can edit that article and put some other content here. So like it's very likely that AI search will use that to expand your visibility. So I would say I still call it SEO. Maybe you have some other opinions, but I mean, I was building that system, trying to understand what is valuable for AI SEO. But I still see that traditional SEO is very basic. I mean, it's a foundation for all the AI search success, right? And yeah, so that's what I said. It's still SEO. And I believe that in AI SEO, there are lots of long-hanging fruits. So people like trying to catch up with things, and they lost like very basic opportunity that they can see. So they go into like trying to like getting scared of all the things that are happening, but they don't see all these opportunities that are happening right now. And yeah, you can create SEO automations within like that kind of automation that you evaluate content based on Google criteria. It will take you like 1 hour to create such a content, and then you paste the list of URLs, and then you get the output. So it's like 1 hour to make it happen. You also can write useful Python programs with zero programming knowledge. This is from my free ebook that I published 2 years ago. There was like entire chapter about using Python to start coding for SEO. Now it's even more powerful, because I believe that Claude is much better for vibe coding, but you still get that foundation, and I believe that this is pretty useful. And now, what I have a problem not only with AI overviews, AI mode override, is that it creates the answer based on low quality sources. So like when I check which pages are ranking top 10, then I can understand what kind of like poor information that they produce. And so that's why what you can do is that you can upload your own knowledge into your own knowledge base. So like articles that you trust, Google patents, and then you start asking these questions. It will take you like 30 minutes, 1 hour to create specific database on a given topic, but then later your learning will be much faster. Then in this example, I used all the patterns on the query fan out that were gathered by Mike, and then I was starting asking questions. And now you can imagine what was the massive improvement when we had to digest into Google Patterns manually, reading those long documents. Now we can just upload to Notebook LM, and then we can start asking questions. So that's a huge improvement. That's a huge advantage for us. And then it's up to us if we start learning or we just go into that mode. Okay, like SEO is dying. Like I don't see SEO is dying. It's definitely changing. And yeah, we need to understand that shift, that there is middleman in between us and the clients. And then we need to understand how we can optimize for that middleman, how to ensure that that middleman will help us sell more products and more like services, right? This. So yeah, I think this perfectly summarized the topic. I think that SEO is kind of a phoenix. And thank you very much. That was pleasure to have this presentation and prepare to help you, tame that fears.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tomek. This is wonderful. And just a heads up to those of you in the chat, please put your questions. We're going to switch over to our panel here now to open it up and get some more perspective on the AI discoverability game now in 2025. So I'd love to turn this to the rest of our panel now, and we can talk a little bit more about these fears that Tomek outlined and where the industry is headed. So I'd love to turn it over to you, Elena. I don't know if you want to get started here.
Yes, first of all, I really want access to that new section of CPT. Tomek, please. I definitely want to try that. It looks amazing. Congrats. I'm very looking forward to the launch. Happy to spread the word for sure. For me, regarding a lot of what you mentioned, if it is still SEO or not SEO, like every day, literally something new comes to my mind and I realize like, now it's a little bit different and I'm shifting more than what I thought yesterday, which I think is okay. We're still learning. I think that there should be like a Venn diagram right here. And we have the use cases and we have the search behavior in traditional search right now that will still overlap a bit with the way and the intent and the goal that people will fulfill or will try to fulfill or still try to fulfill with AI search platforms right now. But more and more, we can, now that we have access to more data, thankfully, because of many third-party tools who are actually providing data, unlike Google, that a lot of this behavior is different. It's not only the interface, it's not only the way the interactions and features and the way that the information is displayed and synthesized and so on. Even if the principle, as you well mentioned, Tomek, are the same as the one of SEO, scrollability, indexability, of course, even if the constraints are also different because LLMs but don't even render JavaScript. Clients are rendered the JavaScript. Clients are rendered that is if your content is completely reliant on that. Or if it is doing here, this is a use case I haven't seen much to be talked about. If you are doing dynamic publishing, because supposedly Google is mobile first and you are providing a less than optimal version supposedly to desktop, where to mobile is server-side render and very well optimized, whatever. Well, to LLMs, not so much, and that might not work for ChatGPT. Thank you very much. So there are a lot of granularities like this of differences, but yes, we can agree that the principles in general are there, but they are apply in ways that differ, that are different, and because of the difference of interface, behavior of user, engagement of user within the platform. At the end of the day, we have all of this new group of queries that Profound the other day they published a research that they had done regarding this new group of queries, of prompts that are not navigational, are not transactional, are not the usual ones that we have or are used to see in traditional search, and are completely new to that they call generative, I believe. For me, what I have seen is the blend of task oriented or assistant oriented. So indeed, I'm right now, I am more on the vision of there is an overlap for many scenarios, for many situations, and goals and activities. Users will start using more and more AI search platforms and LLMs differently and for different purposes and with different goals than traditional search results on one hand. And yes, the principles are realistically a little bit the same a little bit of when we argue TikTok as a platform, if optimizing there can be also called SEO. I mean, they have also like not necessarily a very big sophisticated search engine, but yes, we can apply certain principles of relevance and so on. But yeah, so I guess that every search platform we can arc and ask and the same or not. But at the end of the day, it's about how people engage there, how people behave there, what is the goal and the outcome. And if they behave differently and they interact with our content differently, we cannot expect to apply the exact same criteria and strategies and have the exact same outcome and just extrapolate what we are doing, because it's not going to be successful. And we are already seeing that with the great decoupling and the type of traffic that LLMs generate versus traditional search results and so on. So I will stop now because I very looking forward to see Mike's answer too. But yes, I believe that there's an overlap for sure, but they are different things, different platforms, different engagement, different purposes. And it's normal that there's a slow shift little by little because we don't have all the data yet and people are still finding new ways to use them and they are releasing new features as well. So it's a very exciting time, I have to say. But yes, I believe that there's this evolution on platforms and they are definitely not the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Elena. We also will have a slide later in our presentation with our keynote that shows, again, a Venn diagram of the overlap that we're also seeing from Duda's perspective on some of the shared fundamentals. And yet, obviously, these two search methodologies have different user behaviors that we're seeing. So you'll see that again later if you stick around through the rest of the conference today. But I want to turn it over to Mike as well to share his perspective before we get to the questions that we have in the chat. We've got a few really good ones here.
My perspective is that I don't agree. And I'm actually tired of arguing about it. So I'm not going to say too much about it. But what I will say is that the SEO industry is making a mistake by calling this SEO. They're making a mistake because this is a huge opportunity for us to reset. It's a huge opportunity for us to get away from the poor reputation that SEO has. It's a huge opportunity to get up from the little kids table of marketing and go make real adult decisions and have influence. No one looks at SEO as like a priority the way they look at it from a perspective of like social media or paid media or whatever. And people are investing heavily in AI right now, but we want to keep shoving this huge shift into something that people think should only cost a few $100s a month. It's a mistake. And that's all I got.
Well, that actually brings us to our first question, which is what should we call this? So this is a question from Timothy Bennett here. What should agencies be using the term AEO, SEO? I've also seen people use the term GEO, AIO. There's all of these different terms that people are using to talk about this. At Duda, we're using the term AI discoverability right now as a way to describe it. But what should agencies be using as they're trying to talk to clients and customers about this? Is it SEO? Is it not SEO? What should we be using? And I'll throw it out to the panel. Elena, do you want to start here?
By the way, Mike, I totally agree with the thinking about this is also an opportunity for us to upsell ourselves because what I have definitely seen, even if, and I believe that is something that SEOs, even if they disagree regarding how to call it, whatever, I cannot imagine being the only one seeing decision makers and non-technical people, even product managers, the C-suite, and people who never really care about SEO or disdain SEO a lot of time, like now they want to know everything about AI search. They have all the money. I mean, we had, for companies that we had create huge cases for like powerful crawlers and things like that, and fight a lot for budget and stuff. Now they are throwing money for the AI search tracker, visibility tracker, etc. So yeah, I can definitely see, and I think that in general, if is about, we're in marketing, is about the market needs, and talking in a way that it connects with their needs and what they want and what we can fulfill too. Of course, we are not going to sell something that we cannot fulfill, but I believe that in any case, if someone in the industry or in the market are in a good position and have the knowledge base in order to understand how to influence and how to grow the visibility of a brand or a website through LLMs, is us, the SEO industry. How we can package it in order to better connect with those needs that decision makers are already asking about. Well, I literally, what I do is just try to speak in the same terms. Some of them have asked me, oh, do you have the AIO platform, or do you have AIO tactics or knowledge or whatever? I literally will speak in the terms that they ask about, because I want to connect with them. I want to be able to sell in a way that they understand. Finally, I'm so happy that I have so much more easy buy-in, even if right now across many websites is still 2% of the traffic, 3%. By the way, last month or last 2 months, it was a 1%. Now it's a 3%. All of a sudden, it's growing steadily and very fast too. So there's that. And also another point, let's remember that the final outcome of LLMs as a platform won't be necessarily only traffic. Is share of mind, is visibility, is branding too. So yes, there's definitely that too, because it seems that the only way that we assess like that the important is like see how little traffic still providing. Yeah, maybe traffic won't be necessarily the only way to measure success. It's obvious, right? Because the engagement is different of the user. But yes, there's that. So my point right now is I am talking about it in the terms that my clients are, because what I really want is to be able to connect with them and to be able to fulfill their needs.
Yeah, that's an
Yeah,
excellent answer.
I think we as an industry had the opportunity to decide what it was called, and while we were all just like, no, or not we, I wasn't doing it, just calling it, oh, it's just SEO. We've had other influential parties come in and say what it's called. Like Andreessen Horowitz came out and said, like, oh, it's GEO. So a lot of people that are at that upper crust of organizations are now just parroting that back. And then, of course, yes, you do have people calling it AEO, you have it called whatever, whatever. But I think that this, again, is an opportunity for us to like level up beyond what the channel is. I think it's like, okay, you're talking about a specific channel of search. So we're talking about generative search right now. You could be talking about app store optimization. You could be talking about classic SEO. I think that needs one umbrella term, which I've been calling relevance engineering, because ultimately what you do in any of these channels is create more relevance. You make the content more relevant. You put it in front of more relevant users, and those users, their user behaviors are measured, and then that reinforces what should rank. You want links from different relevant sources. We all know, or I hope we all know at this point, that just going after volume link building doesn't really do anything. But if you get links from highly relevant sources, you see your rankings improve. So, and the other thing is that the idea of optimization is kind of like you're a car mechanic. But I think for a lot of these new environments, because there's very little tooling, and I love that Tomek has made these improvements to ZipTie where they're giving you like direct feedback on what to do now. But there's very little tooling in our space that gives you the insights, allows you to do the things that you need to do in order to appear in these environments. And so a lot of people are having to build things. And so you're not just the mechanic anymore, you're the car maker in order to get this visibility. And so if we keep shoving this in the just SEO, you are giving way more value than you're getting back from your clients. And that makes no sense to me. I think it's illogical that our industry is continuing to do that.
I think that we are speaking about kind of the same thing. like because I speaking about, like I can see all the fears of people like from SEO, that they knowledge is outdated. So what I want to show them is that SEO is the foundation that they can use to start learning AI SEO. And then Mike has a good point about trying to advertise ourselves. Like, okay, like I know that many people from a SEO industry don't want to learn new things. And then the industry, like all the people, like he mentioned like the article of Horowitz that they use the term geo, right? And then they're looking for geo services, not SEO services. So like it could be now, it could be about like marketing, naming, or what we do. So for me, it's like, for me, it doesn't matter if I call it SEO or whatever else. What matters for me is that, okay, what I do within that field. And yeah, I believe that we need to understand, okay, what business is trying to look for. I think that there was some similar situation with front-end development. There was like people were doing like HTML and CSS websites. Then there was JavaScript, so that was like one couple, and then there was like fancy frameworks such as React, Angular, and then they were selling different services. So they were still doing front-end development, but they were advertising this as React, Angular. And I think that it doesn't matter for me as an SEO, like if one person is calling it geo, AIO, optimization, whatever, but I think that we need to understand both sides. First is that your knowledge is not outdated, like it changes like quite a bit. Then you need to start building this on this SEO foundation. But also what Mike said is that you need to understand what the business is trying to understand, because like he was right that SEO has quite poor reputation within business. And yeah, this is
Let's be careful with the reputation bit, though, because, well, unfortunately, we want that reputation as a sector, let's say, after so many years of spam manipulation, whatever, especially in the early years. But realistically, we're right now in the early years also of AI search, and we have seen already so many of these cases populate lately and in social media of people complaining, and it was already one yesterday in LinkedIn, and it was a great also post from James Brockbank mentioning how some people are creating content, faking content, just to try to create consensus regarding this X service is the best for Y, things like that. In many cases, very old school tactics also translated to for AI search platforms. So let's be careful with that, because unfortunately, I guess that because there's always this percentage of this subset of people always trying to game for, let's say, the quickest outcome in the short term, even if in the long term it won't work anymore, of course, because it will evolve. But we can end up earning also a bad reputation due to that. So there's also that. I think that at the end of the day, also we as SEOs, like the ones that are doing and working with enterprise level organizations, doing the right thing, have also been able to differentiate ourselves. So I have also no doubts that this will also happen in whatever way we end up getting called or naming ourselves, optimizing for AI search platforms. But there's also always this risk because of this group of people that will always try to do this, right? And as long as it's obvious that it's not us, even if they do then some coverage in some publications about content goblins or whatever, yeah, there's always that. But yes, it will tend to happen, I guess.
So be the one who know how to optimize for AI search, and then try to understand how to market your offering to the business. So that could be the goal.
Absolutely. Okay, we have another question in the chat to please suggest good tools to check AI visibility. So yeah, as we're trying to think about marketing ourselves as AI search experts, how do you actually measure that and present that to your clients? What tools have you used? What have you seen has worked well for that? Elena, do you want to start?
Yes, I have been using quite a bit lately SimilarWeb. Their new AI reports are great, not only to assess yours, but also any of the player, to have a little bit of a benchmark of how they are getting found and the top prompts information, even if we know that realistically these are not 100% real prompts are there, it gives a good type of sense of the type and the nature of the questions and the type of because of the difference also in the way that content is matched and the optimization target at the channel level rather than at the page level. How come is the homepage getting all the visibility for this other type of very specific granular queries that didn't before? And this type of awareness that is important to show to clients also in order to get more buy-in, more resources, and et cetera, right? So similar web on one hand, Profound also is the AI, I would say the AI visibility tracker, and also has prompt information and a lot of insights regarding answers and trends over time that are top notch. The more let's say sophisticated and enterprise level platform that I have seen out there. Then on the other hand, I believe that there are great newcomers. Peak.ai is definitely a great tool that I have also had the chance to test. YK, and then the usual platforms that have started to release their AI models, right? It was Systrix last week that released theirs, and I started to test, and it's fantastic. And they provide also another way and different data and input to identify more opportunities too. So yeah, so there's that. And then what I am also looking for more is this other type of tools like what Tomek was showing, that doesn't only give visibility on one hand and on how your website is performing versus other players, and also the behavior of the audience that we're getting little by little, but also what next, how to do next, right? And because we know that yes, optimize the semantic relevance of content and so on, but and more tools like crawlers that are now integrating with OpenAI APIs to analyze, for example, vector embeddings and things like that. But it is great to have like proper interfaces that are thought and designed in order to guide you to facilitate the optimization for AI platforms. So very looking forward to try what Thomas has built indeed, and I definitely think that there's opportunity for that.
Yeah, I'd say Profound, ZipTie, SimilarWeb. I like that SEMrush now has a report that shows the traffic from the different chatbots and such as well. But beyond that, everything we use is internal.
Tomek, do you have anything else to add to that?
I think I'm biased, so better to give the shot to ride that bike. Yeah, ZipTie for the video, of course, but yeah, we want to move forward.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, we've also looked a lot at Profound and used SEMrush as well at Duda here. Another question we have in the chat. So how does local SEO change with AI mode? As a local business or an agency serving local businesses, what do we need to adapt and get more business? Yeah, we've got a couple questions on this one.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of local. We do local for like enterprise brands. So I don't know if my answers would be relevant to whomever asked that question.
Yes, I don't do local as well. I do a lot of e-commerce though. And I can say that, funnily enough, the great decoupling for e-commerce hasn't been caused by AIOs, has been caused by the product packs. Thank you very much. It will be interesting to see what happens when Google release they already announced or pre-announced shopping experience for AI mode. Whenever it happens, this hasn't even started to get tested yet, so let's see what happens there. But yes, unfortunately, I work a lot with SaaS and e-commerce and transactional websites, more of the enterprise B2B levels, but not local. Sorry.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, Tomek, do you have anything you want to add to that? Otherwise, we can answer a few more questions in the chat and we can follow up.
Similar to Aleida and Mike, I mean, I don't have much experience with local SEO, but based on what I see in AI overviews, ChatGPT Perplexity, when it tries to get like information about your location, tools cannot like properly get into that local mode. I can offer very basic like recommendation. Just like if you want to focus on specific places, just add the name of this city to the prompt, and then check this one. Like very basic advice, but still, this is kind of approximation that can show you if you are successful in a given place or not.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I would say also too, the same fundamentals as you would use for any local SEO now would apply with like making sure that the structure of your website is effectively optimized for that. And I think that's again more of like the general advice that we would give for that. We have another question in the chat here from Simon. Is AI now able to answer questions that users had that search never could answer? That's what I'm personally finding. So are we seeing the AI is better able to answer user questions in a way that search couldn't? I guess that's another way of asking that question. And I'll leave it up to LADU you to get started.
Yeah, it's more of an assistant indeed. So to simplify questions that realistically the user needed a very straightforward type of answer, of outcome, rather than having to research themselves, and it was there. Yeah, 100%. So for this subset of queries, indeed, they provide certainly a better and much more straightforward experience because of personalization, because of the history and memory that they have, and the capacity to synthesize the answers from, or the information across multiple sources. Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a better, like, all of this is better for the user, right? Like, I'm not saying from the perspective of, existentially better, because people learn as they search, which I think is a better thing, and then they do the synthesis themselves. But these systems are effectively interpreting things for you, and they're also able to understand like multi-step queries and then do all of that for you. So from a user perspective, it is a better experience in that they don't have to read, through 10 different results and then do another query and so on. These systems are effectively doing that for you. So it is a better experience. It just makes everything more complicated for us as marketers.
So I think like two things. First is the personalization. Like they have all this information, and then especially ChatGPT can be very vocal about your previous history. And then like when I try to look for, let's say, hiking in Dolomites, and then they can refer to, okay, since you were looking for this, I mean, we already had that some kind of this in Google, traditional Google, but Google was not very, very vocal about where they find this information from, right? Now its personalization is stronger, and also I think that it was already mentioned, like query fan-out, when they try to get information from various queries, right? So this is something that you cannot get from this one single query, but you can get this from like compounding this from multiple queries.
So it was interesting enough. Now you made me realize that a month and a half ago I went to Lisbon, and I had literally, like, I think it was 4 hours of availability, and I wanted to go to the typical must visit places in the city center, right, or the historical center. And I asked ChatGPT, like, can you create for me an itinerary to visit the top things that I cannot miss to see in Lisbon in less than 2 hours, because I didn't want to walk that much, and they're all walkable, and yes, create me the path, and literally created it for me. And it was actually quite good, but there was a point in which it sent me to a place that was right after the other, but rather than sending me from A to B, it sent me to first A, then X, then B, and it's like, this is not the most efficient way for me to go through this step, but it was actually pretty good. And the thing is, like, it is learning, it is improving all the time too. So, and this is something for which realistically I wouldn't have done necessarily through traditional search. In that sense, I will have obtained that information elsewhere or differently like that. So yes, I can definitely see how it fulfills this, let's say, space that wasn't fulfilled necessarily completely by traditional search.
Yeah, for sure. We have quite a few more questions in the chat here, but we only have a few more minutes. So I will let's take a couple more questions. If you have any more, please drop them in, and we'll answer as many of them as we can. We have a question from T-Tips here on how do you suggest to develop your brand and marketing, since these are areas that brands should focus on. So I think this is kind of referring to more of the brand marketing side of things that are helping brands get mentioned in some of these AI search engines. What's your recommendation for people who are trying to optimize for this?
First, you need to have a great product. That is the first thing. Then, yes, because without a great product, there's nothing. Sorry. Then the other thing, and Tomic, this has to do a lot with the example that you show with Tally, about Tally. I am actually a user of Tally, and I work a lot with SaaS, and and I see this happening a lot. And you need to create community, digital PR, be present where your community is, where your audience is. And the especially the SaaS clients that I have that do the best in right now in terms of visibility of for the wrong brand in AI platforms are the ones that engage a lot with their community, whatever they are. If they are tech, they are in YouTube. They have DevOps and DevRels and people, and they have their own forum where they have tons of Q&A that all of a sudden many times is cited in answers for comparison of their features versus their competitors. And they are even many times in Reddit, because there are subreddits that are about their sector, and they have community managers that are engaging, saying, of course, in an honest way, where they are coming from, etc., etc. So I can see that on one hand, the base, of course, great product, then engagement with community, creating content that reflects what you stand with and engaging with your audience there, making sure to document that and to have a really good reputation management control of how your brand is reflected in across all of these presence. We see a lot of Reddit, a lot of UGC, for good or for bad in AI results as well, answers. And then digital PR at the end of the day, the role of citations that we see now with AI platforms is the weight, let's say, has increased than the ones that we used to have in a traditional search result. So there's definitely that, and should be an extra incentive for it.
Absolutely. Mike or Tomic, do you want to weigh in on that one at all?
So yeah, I 100% agree with Aleida with this. You have to understand where people talk about your brand, and then your category, your niche. Reddit, YouTube are one of the most common sources for AI search, for AI overviews, Perplexity, and ChatGPT. And especially Reddit is the source that they take information from. So yeah, this is something that you need to understand, where people talk about your brand.
Only thing I would add is you need to think well beyond text. It's not just about text. They're using video, audio, all different formats. So you've got to build what I'm calling an omni-media content strategy to be more effective here. And, I disagree with what Tomek said about query fan out. Obviously, I think it's really important to understand that, but also do kind of agree with what he's saying, because you can just look at what the citations rank for rather than like trying to guess from using Gemini to predict what the queries are. But either way, you basically have to have great coverage across that series of queries so you can have as many candidate passages as possible.
For sure. And we've got one last question here before we're out of time, but how do you get people to talk about you on Reddit and some of these other channels without it being just about you and your brand? Any 30-second ideas for how to do that?
Make friends or make news.
Give a great service. Be top notch. Yeah.
And I think it's still like, we are thinking if it's still SEO, right? This is a kind of new thing for me, because I also have to do this on ZipTie. So I'm still learning, but I still consider it an SEO now, because it's part of SEO right now. So this is about that movement for me personally right now, right?
Engage. So that is a good point, Tomek. Engage with influencers and give a sneak peek of your tool, like Tomek is going to give us of his new tool to us.
Yeah, and all people who want to try the tool, let's reach out to me, and I will be happy to talk.
Absolutely. And we're out of time for this session. These were great questions. And thank you to all of our speakers. You can follow all of them on LinkedIn. And we will be diving right into our next session with Andy Crestodina on GA4. So thank you again, everyone. And we'll see you in the next session.
Thank you.
Hello, and we're back. We're here for our next session on GA4 and AI with Andy Crestodina and Dana DiTomaso. So I'm excited to kick us off. Andy, you want to get started? This is our second session of DudaCon.
I'm very excited to be here, and that was really, really insightful. There's a couple things that I just heard that will stick with me, and I just love this combined topic of AI and GA4, and glad to be back, guys. What do you think?
Looking great. That looks awesome.
I know, it's my new favorite.
So stylish.
Yeah, you guys, class, and I'm grateful and honored to be part of this. Dana, good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
It's humbling to do anything with Dana because my knowledge of GA4, GTM, all the related tools, really this is someone that I like to learn from. And so Dana, I'm going to lean on you here a bit and ask you to kind of try to improve or help me or fix the things that I'm talking about that you think could add more value. But Santi, I'm ready to jump in.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it.
Okay. Share screen. I am one of the co-founders of a digital agency called Orbit Media Studios. Orbit specializes in web development and website optimization. We do lots of things for B2B brands. I've done digital for 24 years and I've done AI for 2.4 years. It's my new favorite line. Same as the rest of us, something like that. This is, of all the research I've seen, one of my favorites because it points out that this was Harvard and I think Procter & Gamble. Analyzed the work of 600 people and found that an individual with AI currently is able to outperform a team of people without AI. Also strange, someone pointed out to me recently, something I hadn't really looked at that closely, but when you look at the difference between a team with AI and an individual with AI, it's like, wow, not that big of a difference. So our hope today is to show each of you how you can combine these two technologies, Google Analytics and generative AI, to get better results than you would from either separately. AI is an insanely versatile tool, and we can use the things that I've done every day for years and Dana's done every day for years, and just see if we can push these things farther and do more with them in a combined way. In general, there are junior GA digital marketers that know how to do reporting. That's not really the game. The best people at Google Analytics and GA4 are able to find insights and take action and form hypotheses and test performance of their actions. So a more skilled GA4 person gets the insights from there. Similarly with AI, yeah, anyone can use AI to generate ideas, but the ideas that have impact, that takes more practice, more skill, you're farther along. So our hope today is to kind of mush all that together and level up each of our skills in that combined use case of AI and GA4. Basically, we're going to be exporting reports from GA4, uploading reports to ChatGPT and asking what am I missing? What else? What can you tell me? And there's some things that really can't do without, we can do things that GA4 can't do alone. Okay, I've got the paid account. Dana, are you using a paid account of any of the AIs?
Oh yeah, we pay for ChatGPT and Claude. What about
There
you?
Go. I pay for ChatGPT and then a couple of other related. I've used Descript and a couple other things.
Oh yeah, I guess Descript counts as AI. That's what we use for all our video editing. It's incredible.
Yeah. And before we dive into this whole thing, Kickpoint, Dana, tell us about yourself.
Hi. So I'm president and partner at Kickpoint and founder and lead instructor at Kickpoint Playbook. Kickpoint is a full-service digital marketing agency. We also do websites and optimization, SEO, PPC, and I've been doing this for 25 years, only slightly longer than Andy. And Kickpoint Playbook is a learning platform for digital marketing. We have lots of courses on GA4, including GA4 audits, which just came out, and analytics for agencies, which teaches you everything that we do at our agency, start to finish, on how to implement analytics plans.
Love it. We're going to assume that our attendees here are at least kind of a medium skill and they've got things set up well enough that they can export these reports. But I'm going to upload things to ChatGPT, and I have to say that before you do that, first of all, make sure that you have permission to upload anything like that. PII and AI don't mix. Personally identifiable information and artificial intelligence, I wouldn't ever put those things together. But we're not really uploading anything that has any personal information. It's all GA4, which is anonymized data. And it'll cost you $20 US, $22.50 US, because you need the ChatGPT Plus account to upload files. I'm going to start with pictures of two things that cost $20. One is ChatGPT Plus, which took 8 years to develop, and they spend $500 million a year to keep trained. The other is a beautiful cocktail that's 2 ounces of rye and some Angostura bitters with a splash of rosehip liqueur or vermouth. I'm going to suggest that it's worth it. I don't know why anyone would try to save $20 on this on their AI account. One fewer cocktail per month, and you can pay for your AI subscription. It seems, and is that just me? Why? And I'm a good tipper, so I'll call it 15 plus tip. Is every cocktail $15 now? What happened?
As a non-drinker, I'm going to say sure it is.
Probably.
Yeah, Santi's nodding. Maybe, yeah. Okay. The first use case, we're just going to rip through use cases. And the use cases in themselves may be interesting and useful to you. The concepts and the ideas behind the use cases may be even more useful to you. So mostly you're going to see us do things, and you can say to yourself, wait, that's cool. I could also do this. Think about X, but think also about X plus 1, because there are probably things that you can do that would go beyond these. But the examples we hope will give you ideas. Here's the first one. And I did this with the client this morning. This is like just so fast and interesting. The idea is this: we all publish, but we can't publish everything. So we make choices about what to publish. And as you've made those choices many times, I've been a content marketer since 2007. I haven't published everything, certainly. What have I missed? There are things that I've never written about, but that I've written around, that I've written nearby, like the little topical gaps. So I'm going to ask AI to help me find those topical gaps. Fundamentally, I'm just exporting a list of the title tags of all of my content here. You could probably get that from other places, but but you'll see how we do it. This screenshot shows everything you need to export the report. Dana, I wonder what you think. My new way to try to teach GA4 is to just mush everything onto one screen and then draw little boxes and arrows.
Honestly, that's how I teach GA4 a lot of the time too. So I think that's fine.
Yeah, I did this today.
I think the big thing is making sure that you have a consistent title tag, or, and if you don't have like /blog, if all your blog posts are, for example, the root path, then that's going to be a problem. The only other thing I would add to this would be a secondary dimension, which is that little plus symbol next to page title and screen class, where you can export the path, although maybe that's on your next slide. I don't know.
No, I don't have that on here, but I am filtering for path on the right. But that's the idea. This is, and this use case, you can tell immediately is difficult if your content marketing program is not all in a common directory. You've got bigger problems, and Dana can help. But I'm just setting the primary dimension, the drop down above the first column, to page title. I'm adding a filter to focus only on the page titles for which the page path contains the word blog, because that's where my content lives. It's all inside a directory called /blog. So what do I have? I've got all my articles. Okay, I can click apply, and then I'm going to click export. And I'm going to take those articles out of ChatGPT or out of Google Analytics, download them to CSV. And then this is an important step, because there's structured and unstructured data in the world. Google Analytics data is mostly good, but do AI a favor and save it the step and rip out those top 9 rows, because they're comments and not helpful to the AI or your analysis method. So every time I export something from GA4, I'm going to delete those top 9 rows. You watch me do that again and again today. Then I'm just going to upload those to ChatGPT with a simple analysis prompt. So the idea here is that I'm telling it a role and a goal. You're a content strategist. You're skilled at using data to identify gaps in a content strategy. Sufficient, perfectly fine. I'm giving you a GA4 report showing the title tag of every article on a blog, describing the upload. It probably knew that. Infer topics from these title tags, then perform a semantic distance analysis of these topics and identify 10 topics that do not appear in the data set, but they do align well with the content here. So those words, semantic distance analysis, are useful in this example. I'm basically trying to find gaps in my content strategy. Okay, it comes back. It found a little issue and it worked past that. This was Dana's first point just now. Title tag, of course, gets changed depending on the person's browser settings. So there was a lot of non-English stuff in there. I probably could have scrolled down and deleted all the rows that had just like very few page views. In this case, it did that for me. Next time around, I'll probably do that extra manual step myself, but it got past that. And then, wait, what? I didn't write that? I thought, wait, I swear I wrote that article. This is a gap analysis showing the things that I've almost written but never written. Obviously, GA4 doesn't have this report. It doesn't tell you what things you've almost written but never written. But this kind of gap analysis is very useful. And if and my thinking around AI, I could put in a slide for this. I'm sort of uninterested in using AI to find efficiencies, but I'm very, very interested in using AI to find deficiencies. In my experience and my personal philosophy for this tool is that gap analysis is one of the best things you can do with it. I can give you 100 examples. I don't need it to write me articles, but telling me what article to write is a fantastic use case, because if I wrote one of these, imagine the advantages I'd have in content. Well, got a bunch of images on the related post that I could easily repurpose in here. Examples, data. Well, I could see who shared that last one and the related ones, and go maybe incorporate them into this content, get contributor quotes from them, which I've done with Dana a million times, and other just people to work with, influencers, even editors. If this article is adjacent to another article that I know an editor liked, I am inches away from saying, hey, Santi, I wrote another one that's kind of like that. I know you like that one. What do you think? Do you want to maybe collaborate on this thing? Or could I write this for you? Or do you want to update that thing you made that referenced the other one? And then finally, it's an internal linking bonanza, because you're basically discovered an invisible content hub that almost existed, and now you're going to fill in that blank. That's the idea. But yeah, I like that idea. But that idea to add a secondary dimension, you're going to see me, Dana. I'm going to add some other secondary dimensions here in a bit, because I love that feature very much.
Something else you can do too for the translate. I find that if people are using Google Translate, the host name for any Google Translate is .goog translate or something like that. So if you add another filter for your host name specifically, that sometimes gets rid of most of the auto-translated stuff.
Not related to ChatGPT or AI, but the host name is a big unlock for a lot of people once they realize, hey, I can't find this URL on my website. I keep searching, I can't find it. I'm doing site search as a search operator, and where is this thing? Oh, it's in a subdomain. If you've got such an architecture that you have content that lives at something.website.com, you can just confirm that or check that anytime by adding the host name as a secondary dimension. I love the host name secondary dimension. They're very useful. Okay, moving on. Next use case. Which topics will perform well in which channels? Now, there is such a thing as a topic channel fit. This is absolutely true. Anyone that's done this for a while can tell. Certain things work in search, certain things work in social. Long form, how-to, question answering content that meets expectations works in search. Provocative, collaborative, visual content that is a little bit unexpected works in social, right? Visitors from search are busy. Visitors from social are bored. You can maybe see the difference. And a skilled content strategist can look at a piece of content and say, that likely has an advantage in this channel or that channel. This is part of the job. This is what a content strategist does. Show me a headline and I'll give you a perspective on where I think that might work well. Maybe how it could be adapted to work well somewhere else. But your analytics actually has all this inside. It has all the topics, and it has all the channels, and it has all the performance in all those channels. So this one, again, mashing all the settings here onto one screenshot. Take a screenshot of this and make your analytics look just so, and you'll get the same insights. I'm on the page path report. I'm choosing a longish date range because I want a lot of data here, and we're just looking. I don't need accurate data that much anyway. Actually, I'll make that a question. Dana, you're watching me do gap analysis and look for insights and do analysis.
Yep.
How important is accuracy of my Google Analytics in these cases?
I mean, when you're looking at, on one of the first report, you had an export of key events. So I would say, make sure your key events are actually key events. I just delivered an audit this morning before this of someone who had, I think, people looking at someone's profile as a key event, like not getting in touch, just like looking at it. It's like, well, that's not really, like, I want to know if they looked at a partner page, but I want to know if they actually like tried to give you money. So I think it's important to just make sure your key events make sense before you use that as the basis of what you're doing. Yeah, and the other thing too, actually, and I want to point out on the screenshot here, you have session source as your secondary dropdown. I'd almost be tempted to use source medium only because if you're doing any paid on social media,
Sure.
I might not want, I want ChatGPT to have that context of like, well, we got a lot of traffic for this because we paid for placement on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, not just the session source. But if you're not doing any paid on social, then session source by itself is just fine.
Totally agree. That would be a big upgrade to this because ChatGPT is not going to get exhausted looking at extra data. It'll just give me more insights.
Yeah, just
I
load her up.
absolutely
You got
should change
4,200 rows here. ChatGPT can handle it. You would
No
be.
problem. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's
You
triple
try.
that. It'd be, yep. And thank you for your point about key events. If you don't have key events set up on your analytics, you're only measuring the cheese, not the mousetrap. It's the biggest possible gap I can imagine. And by my definition, it's not really a key event unless the person touched a keyboard. I mean, the conversion is they changed their status. They were a visitor, now they're a lead or customer, or subscriber or donor or applicant or registrant. All of us converted to be at this event. Yeah, so that drives me crazy when people set up key events to be like a view of something. You get that data's there already. Why are you adding that?
My favorite, and by favorite I mean my least favorite, in case the sarcasm isn't clear, is when people call an event a form fill, but it's actually just a view of a contact page, which I see so many times from agencies. Like, come on, we can all do better. Stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, page visits. That's a conversion. Okay, so I got a long date range. I set my primary dimension, my first column, to be page title. Sufficient for this. Secondary dimension, click the blue plus and add, not what I did, but add what Dana said to add, the session source medium, because more data, more insights. I'm going to add a filter. Now, I exclude direct traffic because I'm sorry, I really don't know how to do analysis for direct traffic. It's kind of like the black box. It's the everything else. It's people who came from apps or people who had it bookmarked or what. It's like, my point of view is I don't want that because I don't know how to align a topic with direct traffic. That's what
Yep. No,
agree?
I would agree. Filtering out direct traffic gets out of noise here. So I think that's smart.
Yeah. What is that? When you understand truly what direct traffic is, you really start to deprioritize any type of analysis that involves it. There are exceptions, and I know some of you may be lighting me up in the comments, and I welcome that. And then I've also focused on my content once again. Now, look at this report. This shows what worked how well, where. Now, a human can scan through this and try to find some insights, and I, as a human, have tried to scan through this and find insights many times in my career. But we have a tool now, a helper, a thought partner that can do this for us. We're going to click the export button. Export to CSV, delete the top 9 useless rows. And I'd argue that some of these columns over here, if I'm looking for topic channel fit, I took out these because there wasn't just much data in there. These are articles. They're not really, I maybe could have left it in. In this case, I also might have taken the time to go down and delete all the ultra low traffic rows. But looking at this now, I see my obvious gap. I really wish this was source medium. The next prompt, so you can imagine, you're a content strategist. So we upload the file because we have the ChatGPT Plus account or the Claude Plus or whatever they call it, the Gemini thing, whatever. We upload the file. And here's the prompt. You're a content strategist, analytics expert, skilled in using data to discover which topics perform well in which channels. Content strategy challenge. I'm giving you a GA4 report that shows the performance of content across various traffic sources for a blog targeting zookeepers. I'll just go ahead and name the topic. I could also give it my content strategy or content mission statement here. That wouldn't hurt a bit. And then using this data suggests 10 new topics for articles on this blog that align well with these traffic sources, because now the AI knows what works well and where. So hypothetically, and these are synthetic data slides, so you're not going to be blown away by the insights, but the point is, based on your own data, your own content, and your own visitors all interacting, The patterns that come out of that are identifiable to AI look like this. That topic will likely work well in this channel. It even suggested a keyword for it. Similarly, that topic will likely work well in that channel. Actually, it chose a source. We got the source right there, right? Yeah. And similarly, that topic is kind of the same kind of thing, topically similar to the things that have performed well with your newsletter and your subscribers for your audience. So that is a type of analysis that really I don't think a human can easily do. This one's about alignment more than gaps, but it is suggesting new ideas. And that is the job of the content marketer. It's not to publish, but it's to publish and promote. And smart content strategists know that you should give yourself every possible advantage. And one of those is to align topics with channels, and topics with formats, and topics with formats with channels. This is the game. You've been doing this a little while. You're fully aware. All right, I'm going to move on. I'm going to do one that's pretty advanced here, Dana. I'm going to try to impress you.
I'm ready. I'm ready to be impressed. Hit me.
I don't think you'll be impressed. I'm going to do what I can't. You could do this in Excel, and I used to do this in Excel, and you have R and other programming languages, and you're probably writing this kind of thing in Python or something. But I'm just going to use ChatGPT because I'm not very good at Excel, and it's going to kind of strengthen my muscles about prompting and getting used to providing AI more data. This is an article, and this article has a conversion opportunity in the sticky footer, which means you can go directly from this article to the newsletter sign up thank you page. That's the conversion. They typed in an email address. They changed their status. They were a visitor, not they're a subscriber. But the path from that is simply from the article to the thank you page directly. So if your UX is different than that and there's an intermediate page, you could still do this. You'll just have to adapt it a bit or ask Dana, she'll help. Here's the thesis. If that many people saw the blog post and that many people move from the blog post to the thank you page, then you can calculate, there's your numerator, there's your denominator, the conversion rate from that specific article. I'm about to calculate exactly which of my articles is the most inspiring, compelling, which of my articles grows my email list. This is measurement of content by a standard of quality that few marketers ever attempt. I could name a marketer you know that can tell you the conversion rate of their highest of their specific articles. Almost no one can, right? No one really does this. And it's not even a report in analytics. It's a calculated metric. There's not one report that shows both of those two numbers. So that's the whole idea. Conversions divided by traffic equals the conversion rate. Did I get that right? I think so. I sometimes flip those. So I have to get this from two reports. I'm going to upload two reports to AI this time. First, I'm going to go to my, and by the way, I'm going to do this for content marketing. You could do this for PPC landing pages. You could do this for whatever. I mean, it's, these conversion rates are really useful for the content marketer, but, I can easily imagine attendees here from DudaCon adapting this for their own methods. So we have the pages report. I'm going to set a long date range because I need a lot of data for this one. There aren't that many conversions from some of these articles. And then I'm going to create a report that simply, once again, focuses on that directory /blog. Okay, that's it. I got traffic to blog posts, right? That's my denominator. Now I need another report, export it. I need another and clean it up. By the way, I don't need the /blog page. That's not, you can't really convert from there. And I don't need all these other things. I'm just looking for the sessions. This is the report. That's one of the numbers in the calculated metric. This is just the number of times each one of these pages has been loaded, right? That appeared on the screen. And then my second report is a bit different. It's a pages report with the same exact date range, with a secondary dimension for page referrer that shows where people came from. And the filter zeroes us in on the thank you page. I think this one's interesting. Dana, you can see I'm doing this without even having a key event set up. Is that weird?
No, I don't think that's weird. I think too, what I like about this is that it's really accessible for people who aren't like, I don't want to learn Google Tag Manager, which is fair, honestly. If you have a thank you page, if you have somewhere that people go, then this is a great, easy analysis to do without having to learn anything advanced.
Could you do this all in GTM?
You could, and I would probably use I would probably look at audiences, because one of the things I want to point out here actually is if you flip back just a couple of slides before you to the first export that you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, oh, one more. Sorry. Nope. Wait, actually, this is fine. Okay. So what I want to look at here is you've got your dimension of page path and screen class. I want to point out something really important in GA4, which is called scopes. So you can see engagement rate has an average of 0%. Key events is 100% of total. And the session key event rate is average 0%. Why is that? Well, that's because the scope of page path and screen class is called event scoped. So it is at the event level, and there's 3 different scopes in GA4. There's user scope, everything a user does. There's session scope, everything that happens in a session. And then there's event scope, which is an individual event. So I'm a user. I use, say, 2 different sites. I log in on both sites. I'm one user with 2 sessions. In each of my sessions, I visit 3 pages. I have 1 landing page and 3 page views in total. Engagement rate is only calculated at the session level, not the event level. So that's why it's showing up as 0%, because you have a scope that is lower than the scope of the metric of engagement rate, which is at the session scope, that higher scope. Key event occurs on that page, so it is 100% because it is event scoped. But the session key event rate, it happens across the session, so that's why it's back at 0%, because session key event rate is at the session scope, not the page scope. So if you had, say, your dimension set to landing page instead of page path, you wouldn't have this issue with engagement rate and session key event rate. You got rid of those metrics, so it doesn't necessarily matter for this analysis. But in general, when you're in GA4 looking at this data, it's really important to make sure that the metrics you're looking at are at or below the level of the dimension scope. So if you have an event dimension scope, then you need to make sure that all your metrics are at event level. If you have a session scope, like landing page, then your metrics can be at the session scope or they can be at the event scope. So
I see event, session, and user scope at the when I create segments and explorations.
Yes.
Without going into tons of detail, can I just generally just choose one of those as a rule?
Yep, absolutely.
User?
I mean, I
Do I just
typically
choose user?
choose session. If you don't have logins on your website, which you don't have, you know, I do, for example, on the Playbook site. So when you buy a course, you log in. I can track people at the user level, but most B2B sites don't have logins on their website. So a user only matters if you have logins on your website that you're tracking, or some other way to track people across sessions. Yeah. So like Duda, for example, you log in, you can track users, right?
I see.
So a session and a user is essentially the same if you don't have logins. And I would say in your mind, always think of a session as a device. Because if I visit Orbit Media on my phone and on my desktop, you have no way to tie me together across those 2 devices. So really, I look like I'm 2 users with 2 different sessions, even though I'm the same person.
That's really interesting. And I assume that's all in your content at kickpointplaybook.ca?
It sure is, yeah. Especially the practical GA4 course goes into this in depth.
Thank you for putting that together and that explanation. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. That's the next level of GA4 for me. I'm not at that advanced level yet, but the scoping pops up for me sometimes, and I knew I needed to go deeper. So thank you for that.
Yep.
So this one, you can see everything I'm doing here. It's a pages report, same long date range. Page refer is my secondary dimension, and the filter focuses this report on the thank you page. I'm also focused just on the articles. So the theory here is that, I guess it's covered up, but this is the number of times that these articles sent visitors to the thank you page. This is the number of engagements and submissions to that sticky footer, more or less. So when I export this now, again, I've got to clean this up a little bit. I don't know another way to do this. You just clean it up. It's all a bit kludgy today.
Honestly, like maybe you could do a Looker Studio report, but like just delete the stuff. It's fine.
I know. Yeah. It's. I know that there's and I'm even cutting out the first row. I don't really even need that. You know, and then all these super low traffic rows. In this example, it's really important to delete these, because if a page had 2 visits and 2 conversions, it'll show 100% conversion rate, and that's going to be like this, visual noise inside your final analysis. So I cut those out. Also, probably doesn't matter, but I thought I was trying to help the AI out. I made the headers match more closely. Or they don't quite match, but I said this is conversions. Yeah, see, this is conversions, this is sessions. You can see I put them both on one screen here. one of these is a relative URL. One of these is the absolute URL, whatever you call it. So anyway, you have the data, the numerator, the denominator. Any skills, it's embarrassing. If you've got basic Excel spread skills, like if you could make a VLOOKUP, you're saying, Andy, why don't you just do that now? Why upload to AI? Well, there's two reasons. One, I'm a klutz with pivot tables and VLOOKUPs, and I don't really have the Excel skills, and I probably never will now that I have AI. Another is that if I want to take the next step past the report and go straight to analysis and insights, I would already be in AI. In any case, it's very simple. I'm just simply saying merge these as you would with a VLOOKUP. But anytime you ask AI to edit a spreadsheet, I've got a pro tip for you. Provide link to download, because it might rip out all the data. It might mess everything up. You have to check it. I don't really trust AI. I'm going to validate anything that I do. So anytime that you ask AI to manipulate data, check it. Provide link to download. So put them together, download the merged data, pull it up, looks good. That's it. Now here, obviously, even I could do the calculation, right? It's like it's a column C divided by column B, or vice versa, whichever. I'm just going to have it do it. I'm going to have it create a visualization. Using the merged data, create a bar chart showing the conversion rates for the top 25 blog posts. I suspect that few, if anyone, at DudaCon have ever seen this report. But what an insanely valuable report. It's literally forced rank the contribution to email list growth for everything inside analytics. And unsurprising, there you see that massive exponential curve. Every report in marketing is always this massive log scale curve. Never seen a straight line. It doesn't happen. So this is I've written some things that are literally like in the top 5, like twice as compelling and twice the contribution to my email list growth. And email list growth, by the way, is something we should all be prioritizing because it's disintermediation. There's two kinds of marketers: algorithm marketers and relationship marketers. SEO is algorithm marketing. You've got big tech in between you and your audience. You do not control access to your audience. Social media marketing, big tech is in between you and your audience. But email, events, webinars, word of mouth, referrals, like there's lots of types of marketing where there's no intermediary. So email is disintermediation. And one of my favorite outcomes in digital is to attract visitors from search, convert them into subscribers, and then have direct access to them over time. So I love this. And it makes me think of what Larry Kim taught years ago, which is that everything in marketing is either a unicorn or a donkey, as in things are super high performers or often very, very low performers. The idea being, if something is both high traffic and high engagement, just double down, triple down, do more of that. If it's low traffic and low engagement, maybe try it once more, but mostly we're going to be giving up on that pretty soon. Anything that has high traffic but low engagement, well, those things you need to add more CTAs, add more internal links, make them more engaging, add video. And anything that has high engagement, you've seen these, right? It has a lot of engagement, but almost no one visits it. These are the ones, right? That's what that report showed. These are not high traffic articles for me, but these are the highest converting articles for me. These are the best mouse traps. I need to put my better cheese on them. Keep them in heavy social rotation. Put them on my homepage. Make a social media video to promote these things. Put paid dollars behind it. That's exactly the one. It's worth it. You proved it. Add these to your email signature. Send these again as another newsletter. Write a guest post for someone else and reference back to that original piece. And simply link from your highest traffic pieces to your highest converting pieces. The hard part is knowing what to link. But once you know it, you can improve conversion rates. You can grow your list faster just by connecting your best cheese and your best mousetraps. These things, once you put them together, like that's, the effects don't add, they multiply. Like these things have much. You have a few pieces once you discover them that have far greater conversion rates than the others. Okay, I'm going to keep going.
Can I suggest something that I would do with this
please,
as well?
Please,
okay,
please.
So what you should do is capture the URL that people are on when they sign up for the newsletter, save it in your email tool. For example, we use Kit, and then, or used to be called ConvertKit. And then when you go through that first analysis that Andy did, where you're taking a look at the stuff that you already have and what else should you write, know that it's related to this post, search for everybody who signed up for your email list from the first post that is now going to be related to this new post. And then that gives you an extremely focused segment to send the new post to, because you already know that these people are interested in this other piece.
So how do you capture that when they
A
convert?
hidden field. Yeah. So I would put a hidden field on the form that would capture the current URL. You might already have this. I think you use MailChimp, right? So you might already have this in there.
We use ActiveCampaign, but I can imagine.
ActiveCampaign, yeah. Yeah, most of them already do have this. If they don't, it's an easy, you can add a hidden field. We use Gravity Forms on our website. It's just a basic hidden field that you can add under advanced fields. You just click on referring URL or current URL, and it'll save it in there for you, and then push it into whatever email program you use.
Really interesting. Yeah, I can imagine how. I talked about the topic channel fit. That's the topic user fit. I love it. Thanks for being here with me, Dana.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for
I know you
asking me to
partner
be
with
here.
Anton and Duda a lot. Yeah, but I was like, Dana. They're like, yeah, of course, Dana. I'm like, you want me to reach out? They're like, no, we got it. Catch on speed dial. Okay, I'm going to stick with email for another minute here and talk about how to drive it, analyze things by topic. It's content marketing. I don't know, this is sort of weird. Every blog is basically like a reverse chronological pile of stuff. Yeah, you can tag and categorize them, but there's other ways to do that. And I'd like to do analysis to figure out which of my topics that I send as campaigns and newsletters get what kind of performance. So this is an example of me doing a little bit of email analysis. I'm going to start here in the traffic acquisition report. This is probably the other main report, right? Pages and screens, traffic acquisition. I think those are, I wish I had Google Analytics on GA4 itself, because my theory is that those are like 80% of the analysis is done in those two reports. Most marketers anyway. So I'm in the traffic acquisition report. I'm going to set a nice long date range, and I'm going to set the session to set the primary dimension to session campaign. Okay, great. Now, what kind of campaigns am I talking about here? You may have all kinds of different campaigns. I'm just focused on email campaigns for the moment. So email is a medium. So I'm going to set session medium to exactly match email. Remember, medium is the broad origin of traffic. Source is the specific origin of traffic. So when I teach these things, I tell people that's one you got to memorize. Just memorize that, please. You need to know that forever. Medium's the broad origin. Source is the specific origin. And then I'm going to apply that and take that out of there. I've got a year of data here. I'm not sure why it's not showing a bigger line chart, but anyway. Now, I'm going to cut out the first 9 rows at the top. I'm going to cut out the rows with low traffic. I might also, and I'm going to, I manually, it sounds crazy. I mostly, as I said, I like to use AI to find deficiencies, not efficiencies. So I will happily do manual steps, like go through my campaigns and add personally with my own 2 hands, add the topics. I'm tagging them manually here. Probably you could get this out of an export if you've got a ton of content, but for me, this only took a few minutes. So now this report shows which campaigns drove what kind of engagement, what kind of traffic, and which topics they aligned with. When I upload this, the prompt sounds like this. You're an expert at measuring performance of campaigns using GA4 data. I'm giving you a report that shows the performance of email campaigns. Each campaign's been categorized into 1 or 2 topics. Draw a bar chart showing the performance of topics in terms of traffic and engagement. Pro tip, you're going to a meeting. I want you to have a great meeting, and I want people to listen to you when you're in your meeting. So bring a chart. They can't ignore me now.
People, stop showing tables. No one likes tables.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
one.
Tables,
Yeah.
it's hard. Too much cognitive load. You got to market your marketing. Use every trick in the book to have a better meeting, to be more persuasive, to get buy-in, to be a credible expert internally. So it's really hard to ignore someone that has a chart. So have a chart. It will make you a chart. It made me this chart. This is actually very interesting. And when I've shown this to email marketers and social media marketers, they're not surprised. Some of you may be surprised. This bar chart shows a strange pattern. The topics that are great for traffic are not the topics that are great for engagement. The low traffic topics get higher engagement. The higher traffic topics get lower engagement. So it's a way to sort of back into the goal. You're marketing for an outcome, I hope. What is the outcome that you're trying to reach? And can you find the pattern that will help you align your activities and budgets and resources and calories burned with the outcome you're seeking? This one, it's a bit strange to me. A lot of people click and open those emails about AI and web design, but actually there is, the engagement is much higher post-click on the content about content strategy and SEO. So you could go deeper. I could have a long conversation with AI about this. I could ask AI to suggest other topics. I could give AI more data. It's called ChatGPT because we're supposed to have a conversation with it. So I'd recommend having a longer conversation with it. But that idea here, we're going to maybe go deeper and say, suggest 3 high-performing campaigns based on this data. I also like this one. Suggest 3 totally weird, super unexpected, but very memorable campaigns that could still totally work out. Throw that tone in there. Ask it for things that are strange or unexpected. Look for counter narratives. If you just inject different types of words and stop talking like you're talking to, giving some fancy presentation. Instead, talk to it like it's your buddy. Hey, give me some weird ideas too. I want to hear the weird ideas. So this one comes up with these high-performing campaigns. These are likely to work based on what worked. This is not best practices. Best practices, this is going to sound strange. Dana, I'd love your point of view. Best practices are for people that don't have their own data.
Yes. Agreed. 1000%. Yeah. And people say, well, what's the best practice for this? No, what's your practice? It's not, if you're brand new, if this is your day one with your new business or day one with marketing, yeah, of course, you're going to look at some best practices. But this is not, we are not new. This is something where we have this benchmark data. Let's use it because what matters is what matters for you.
Yeah, because and not everyone has the same subscribers. Best practices are really just common practices.
Yep.
And properly thought of as just hypotheses. They're good hypotheses. That's a Brian Massey quote. Best practices are good hypotheses. So this is what worked based on your audience, based on your content, based on your timing, based on your topics, based on the subscribers on your list. You can see I made these a while ago. So what do you think? Next steps, disregard 2/3 of it. You're the marketer. You're the expert. These aren't correct. You're just brainstorming. It's just suggesting things to you. What about those super weird topics? Yeah, maybe. Okay, sure. Web design confessions, what we all get wrong. You can imagine like those things might work well. So just keep pushing it, keep asking it for more, keep asking it for things that no one would have thought of. One of my favorite prompts is, what are the most important topics that are missing from the popular blogs? You can do gap analysis on an entire vertical's body of work. Humans can't even do that, right? Try that one out. Or better yet, I'm a bit off topic here, but what are the most important things that my target audience doesn't know? It'll tell you. You can't get that out of a stakeholder interview. It'll tell you what the most valuable topics that your subscribers don't know themselves. Some of these methods are like AI only. Okay, this one is kind of a mashup. In a way, it's a bit more straightforward. I'm going to try to marry these 2 reports into a single report. The email service provider reports, delivery, open, click-through, and the GA4 reports, visits, engagement, average engagement time. I need to update that. Key event rate. And I'm going to attempt to make a single report that shows all of those things. For this, I'm going to combine data, not just from Google Analytics, but from, in my case, ActiveCampaign, Kit, whatever you use, whatever you like, whatever it sent your email. Because basically this is inbox performance, this is website performance, but most people don't have a single report that shows or charts that then analyze the combined data across the full experience for your visitor from their email program to your website and even to their thank you page. So I'm going to download a big date range of data from my email service provider. This is again ActiveCampaign, my ESP. And I'm going to go to Google Analytics, and it's sort of amazing this works. Okay, some cautions. You spotted it immediately, I'm sure. This may be sample data. What am I seeing up here, Dana? Did I lose you? Let me stop sharing and confirm that this is all still here. Hi.
Hi, we're here.
Okay, good. I'm going to share a screen again. I just was worried for a second. So I will soldier on. This is, Santa, can you see that?
Yep, I can see it now.
Okay, great. So this report, you get the idea. I'm doing the campaign traffic, but I'm adding a secondary date range of date. And I'm going to set the same date range as the email service provider. And I'm focusing just on emails. And when I export that, download the file, I can give that to AI and it can map together for me these campaigns because it has the date range. I'm giving you 2 data sets. They show the performance of both campaigns. I'm going to speed up. And I get to this final spreadsheet that has on one side the GA4 data and on the other side the ESP data. Look at that in one report, right? Provide link to download, double check it. And then the next step is to say, you're a digital strategist. What insights can you give me from the combined data, from the combined report? It comes back with some analysis that's kind of interesting. But how about we categorize these into topics and then tell me, in this case, I had it do the categorization. And then it correlated the topics with metrics. We started to get more interesting. Wait a minute. You can see each of these here, the SEO ones, open rate, click-through rate, that's inbox performance. Engagement rate, engagement time, that's website performance. It's already putting them together. Give me the insights from these. It gives me some insights. And then finally, the ta-da moment when you ask it to draw a table, draw a chart. Heat map matrix, that's another fun prompt for me. Draw a color-coded heat map matrix. And it just looks better at your meeting because you've got colors on it now. But the insights are strange because when I write about analytics, people don't love that email, but after they click, they love the page. When I write about content marketing, people love those emails, but after they click, they're not that engaged. So once again, there's a gap between performance with a single campaign. Things that maybe get a lot of engagement in the inbox aren't the ones that maintain that engagement post-click. Things that have super high engagement post-click maybe actually sort of struggled in the inbox. It kind of shows the level of motivation or the interest in the topic, how deep the visitor wants to go. Based on this data, what sorts of campaigns should be sent more often? What kind of campaigns should be abandoned? Suggest changes that would improve the efficiency of this email program. Based on the data, write 5 subject lines that would drive conversions. Wow. I'm going to do that again with the date range, and Dana, jump in anytime. I'm going to do more analysis with the GA4 date because this is special to me. I could not do this before AI. Maybe with Looker Studio, which I don't have any skill with. But this dimension, date plus hour, was useless to me. It's like, okay, we're looking at 8 a.m. on May 27th of 2023. Was that a Tuesday? Anybody know that? What was a Tuesday? Tuesday is not in analytics. There's no such thing as Tuesday in analytics. But what this report shows me, all it is the pages report, showing a long date range. Focus just, here I just searched for it, focus just on traffic to the thank you page, but that date plus hour shows you precisely when visitors who touched that URL landed there. What day, what month, what hour. So when I export this and give this to GA4, I still have to clean up or give it to AI. Got to clean up those 9 rows. I'm going to clean up any useless columns. And now I basically have the date plus hour in the sessions. But that's just a string of numbers. It's like the matrix. Like I can't remember, what does that mean? It's just a bunch of numbers in there. But AI can understand that. It can take that out of there. And this prompt works beautifully. I'm giving you a CSV file showing the date and time of newsletter subscribers to a blog. Perform an analysis of conversions by day of week. Ever seen that chart before? What day of week do people subscribe? Wow. How about time of day? What time of day do people subscribe? You know what I'm doing next, right? the color-coded heat map matrix. Make a single color-coded heat map matrix showing conversions by time of day and day of week. Obviously, that's not possible in GA4. Maybe Dana's probably building this right now with her left hand on some other.
You can do this in Looker Studio, but you do have to know what you're doing. I find, again, like if you don't want to learn Looker Studio, I'm not going to judge you. I don't care. So if this is how you're going to do this, and this is one of the things that, I mean, Andy, you and I have the same thoughts on this. Like we want our teachings to be super accessible, which means that if I'm teaching someone how to do something, I'm not going to say you have to use this tool, you have to learn Python or whatever crap. Like just make it as accessible as possible. And then if you want to go from here and be like, you know what, I can do this in Looker Studio, great, you do that. It is possible to do in Looker Studio. I use it all the time, so I'm going to do it that way. This is your tool of choice. You're going to do it this way. I'm not judging. I think this is great. And I think the end output is more important than the process and how you got there. And I think a lot of marketers can kind of get hung up on like, well, look at this fancy tool that I used. I don't really care. I just want to see the end unit, which is this great analysis of conversions by time of day and day of week.
Yeah, it's I would actually say that Looker Studio adds more value, especially if it's a type of analysis you're going to be doing repeatedly. Mm-hmm. But really, how often do I need this one? You know, this isn't like an every week report. I'm going to do the same thing again now with a different with a different landing page, a different URL. Here I'm going to do the same thing, just focused on the lead gen form. Someone became a lead. What time of day of week did they become a lead? Same method, same method, same method, same method, date plus hour, which I never used in all these years, right? I've used Google Analytics since it was called Urchin. Like mm-hmm. This is
me too. Yep.
Yeah. Remember that?
And that's why if people want to know, that's why it's called UTM, because it's Urchin Tracking
That's right.
Module. That's your fun fact for parties.
Internet trivia, UTM. Ask anybody. They changed. I think they tried to change what it means, but that's the history of that tag, that parameter. Okay, so when you export this, same data, clean it up, looks good. I'm giving you a CSV file for the time and date of conversions on a B2B lead gen website. Perform an analysis by day of week. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Friday is my worst day of week for conversions. And this is based on thousands of leads. Perform an analysis showing by time of day. By the way, these incremental steps toward a fancy report, I think, help the AI a little bit. If you overload a single prompt, it might not be as reliable. This is the time of day when people on this website tend to convert, fill out a contact form, land on a thank you page. Create a single heat map matrix showing conversions by both time of day and day of week. I find this very interesting, and I think actually somewhat practical. I immediately had ideas once I generated this. This is basically predicting in advance, like when people will become leads. But let's ask AI what it thinks we should do with this. You're a B2B lead gen strategist skilled at using interesting types of data to discover new opportunities to improve the flow of qualified leads. Make 5 recommendations, could have made it 10, for better B2B lead gen based on this data. Optimize campaigns for peak days. Those are the days when you should be cranking up your ad budgets. Those are the days when you should be publishing, promoting, sending. Target high conversion hours. Those are the days when you should do outreach. It has this other idea, experiment with off-peak strategies. I'm going to disagree with this one. I don't think it's that effective to try to get visitors to do something that they weren't going to do. Like that's just, it's like, oh, there's no wind blowing. I'll just put more sails over there. Like that's not how sailboats work. This one I love though. Enhance lead nurturing during peak times. Have sales reps available for faster response times or do automated follow-ups at those times. That's actually quite interesting, right? And I think there's a huge gap in marketing in that alignment between marketing and sales. And this is one of those reports that may actually bring you closer together, break down silos, and encourage collaboration when we say, hey, most of the, a disproportionate percentage of leads come in at this time of day of week. What do you think? And have the conversation.
Mm-hmm. And if you use something like call tracking, you can layer that on top of this to say, hey, you know what, your unanswered rates are going up because you don't have enough people available on this day. So can you hire a part-timer to cover Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yeah. I know a LinkedIn ad strategist, AJ Wilcox, who says that if you know that there's a time of day of week when conversions are low. You can save money by just turning down your ad budgets. He says, don't pause the ad groups, just turn them down to 1 penny, because if you turn them off, it takes LinkedIn's AI several more days to get used to the thing again or something. Like there's a technical reason why you shouldn't turn them off completely. So here's the takeaway, and this is more research from Harvard. The AI has a magical power to partly erase technical skill gaps. It makes commercial users, commercial professionals, sales, marketing, the customer service people, as good or close or better at technical skills, allowing them to approach the skill levels of the R&D more technical people. So bottom line, when we're using AI, the takeaway here, and we just focused almost completely here on GA4, but really it's any export button. You use SEMrush? Ooh, an export button. You're in GA4, obviously. Wait, there's an export button. You're in LinkedIn. Hey, look, an export button. Time to get excited about export buttons. You like Moz? I like Moz. There's an export button. Anytime you see an export button, get excited. You've got an opportunity. Santi, are there questions? Because I have another 3 minutes on an adjacent topic, but let me pause.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's do the 3 minutes.
Okay.
We've got just about that much time.
Great. I think I actually need to stop my screen share. So let me bring that back. Share screen, present, share screen, entire screen 2. Here's my latest thinking on AI. This is the proficiency levels in AI. When you discovered it, you tried it, it wrote you a poem. Lovely. You're a user of AI. But then you realize that AI can help you write prompts, and you can ask it to create a prompt rather than just writing your own prompt. But then, yes, prompts must be tested. If it worked, great, you got a better response and you got a reusable prompt that you can share with your team. You're moving up the proficiency levels in AI. Now you've learned to take your reusable prompts and give them lots of inputs, give them lots of reports. That's what we did today. We're uploading all kinds of stuff. And the responses you get back from that are way, way more interesting, way more useful. You're learning how to load AI up with many more things. Eventually, and what Dana and I started to do there almost intuitively was to put things together into a sequence where that response, you gave it the report, it gave you the analysis, you give that analysis to the next report, and it writes the outline for the article or whatever you're doing. That's the AI process developer. It's integral to your process. You're using it in many more steps. And then suddenly, wait, why am I copying and pasting all these prompts? Let me just put them together into an automation. If you have not yet built a custom GPT, that's next. Learn that skill. You will immediately differentiate yourself from the other job candidates or marketers or professionals or internal employees. It's a wonderful feeling. It's like, I've made something. This is my intellectual property. This is a huge competitive advantage. And then you can share that with the team. The Danas and the Christopher Penns of the world are building agents that go do things on the internet. They leave AI and they go send emails, they write reports, they generate things. They're far, far more useful. That's the next step. That's beyond me. But agentic AI, if you haven't used the words yet, you're going to be using it 1 million times in your career. And then the final step is the AI boss. You're a manager, and these are your digital employees. You're overseeing artificially intelligent labor, watching the inputs, watching the outputs, keeping an eye. This is all from an article I wrote about the level of AI efficiency, which I'm happy to share. But this is where we're all going. AI, you learned today, is one of your helpers for doing analysis and using Google Analytics. That's one step in a lot of steps, and you're going to have many different tools, many reusable prompts, many different automations, even agents, and overseeing these is the future of your job. Are you stressed? Are you excited? It just depends on how far you've gone. Some people feel disrupted. Others are excited about the opportunity. That's the difference. You're in charge of your skill set. Kudos to each of you for coming to DudaCon, because you leveled up today. We hope this is useful. And time for any questions? Up to you.
Yeah, I think we've got about 30 seconds left before we have to start our next session. So I think we will move on, and I will just say thank you again to Andy and Dana. This was amazing. Thank you so much for going through all of those prompts. I've been taking screenshots this whole time and then sending stuff to my team. So this is very, very exciting and very helpful for us as content marketers. So again, thank you so much. And for those of you that are still on the line, our next session will be with our founders. So we'll have Amir, Itai, and our product team on. And I do see a couple questions about some things that might be coming up in the next session here. So we'll get to those in a second. So thank you again, Andy and Dana. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Hello, hello everybody, and welcome to the DudaCon 2025 keynote. I'm super excited to be here today, and with me we're going to have Amir Glat and several of our team members from our product team. We're going to show you some amazing stuff, some of the newest features that we've been working on, and we're very excited to share those with you. So Anton, can you bring up my slide deck? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so who's going to be presenting here with me? As I mentioned, Amir Glat, Duda's co-founder and CTO. Also, Yonatan Shaham, Director, Group Product Manager at Duda. Liron Chorev, Website Product Leader. We'll also have Tal Levy, Product Manager, and Ronnie Shapiro, our VP of Engineering. So this is a very exciting time, and maybe also a little bit of a scary time with all the changes and transitionings that is happening. This is actually a turning point, not just for Duda and our agency customers or businesses worldwide. This is a turning point for everyone. The discoverability of small businesses is changing dramatically, and also the way that we build websites is changing. And if you think of what is a website, if it's the text that is in the website, it's images, it's videos, all that can be created today with AI. So what is our role as a web professional? What is the future for us? This is what we're going to talk about here a lot today. And it's really about how agencies need to evolve into this new world, how things like discoverability, automation, interactivity are the foundations for future growth. And we'll talk a lot about how Duda is here as your partner to empower you to create these next generation web experiences. So the session today is going to be divided mainly into these three sections. First, I'll talk about AI's role in SMB discoverability, a topic that I'm very fascinated by. The next topic will be AI-powered productivity tools for agencies. And here we'll share a lot of the new tools that are coming out or have just recently come out. And the last topic will be about making SMB websites more actionable. Anton, can you keep the slides on? Thank you. Okay, so diving into the first topic. Search is becoming more fragmented. It's no longer just about Google, right? There's many ways that consumers, small businesses are being discovered. And aside from, if it's on chat platforms, if it's changes that Google has done with AI overviews, AI mode, search is really fragmented, and that has maybe for the first time that I can remember in kind of the 2-3 decades that I've been working on, that such a significant change has happened in the market. Today, and this is information just from last year, about 60% of clicks of searches that are happening either in the Americas or in Europe are actually 60% are not leading to a website. Only 40% of the clicks are leading to websites. 60% are staying in either in the AI platforms or staying within Google to do more queries, more searches. So it means we're getting less traffic. And on the other hand, this is actually Duda's own data. What we can see, and that pink line, that graph that's going up and to the right, that's the rise of traffic coming to Duda's almost 1 million sites from ChatGPT. You can see a very meteoric rise. And I need to caveat it that it's still a fraction of the traffic that Google is sending to our 1 million sites, but just it's pretty staggering just how fast and the amount of traffic that ChatGPT is sending. To a lesser extent, at this point, we're getting traffic from some of these other AI platforms. ChatGPT is still very, very dominant. But we need to remember, there's still a lot of searches that are happening on Google, and it's maybe 373x the amount of searches that are happening on ChatGPT. So if you are a small business today, you still need to have a very strong and viable strategy of getting users, getting traffic from Google. And also need to remember that ChatGPT, even with that graph that we showed, is not yet optimized for sending traffic to external websites, right? That traffic that we're getting is actually people who are they're writing the prompt, they're seeing the results, and the results are not sufficient for them. They are clicking through, they're going to the citations, and then clicking through to websites. So it still means websites are extremely important. But what I personally believe, and this is an example that I used for searching for restaurants in Boulder, what you can see is that ChatGPT gave me that map view and has put the locations of the best restaurants in Boulder on that map. So what I think is, as ChatGPT and some of these other platforms understand the intent of users, we will see a different experience on ChatGPT that lends itself to that intent, and hopefully will send more traffic to websites. Some of the other examples of here we can see on the right-hand side, AI mode, and ChatGPT also has some of these embedded links. So there's different ways for people to actually click on these links that lead to websites. An interesting comment from Eddie Q, who's a longtime executive at Apple. He said for the first time, and this was in May, for the first time, the traffic that on the Safari browser, the amount of searches that are going to Google has declined. And that happened for the first time in May this year. We're also seeing it in Duda. When we look at the amount of traffic that is coming from Google, it is no longer growing. It is actually slightly in decline. So even Google itself is sending less traffic. And this is because of the things that we talked about. It's not just because of ChatGPT. It's a lot about the things that we talked about, the AI overviews and AI mode. So there's a lot of reasons for why Google is keeping that traffic within their own assets. So how does that impact us? What does it mean for us as marketers? I think we need to be prepared for a world where a lot of the information about businesses is not learned on the site, is actually learned offsite. This is a very, I would say, simplistic view at a marketing funnel, right? We have at the top the discovery and then engagement, and then hopefully the leads convert to actual customers. So on the left-hand side, we have the old view of how the marketing funnel looked like. On the right-hand side, we have the new view. And there you see where a lot of that discovery, that first phase in light blue, happens actually external to our websites. It's happening on the AI platforms. It happens on AI overviews. So people do a lot of that research and discoveries there. And then, only then, when they are ready to make a purchase, when they're ready to spend more time, then they click over to your brand, to your website, and actually convert. So should we be worried about that? You know, I think it doesn't help us to be worried about it. I think what we need to understand is, and we see that also from a lot of the websites out there, I think HubSpot as well talked about it, that even though traffic is declining to website, the amount of revenue still continues to increase that businesses are generating of their website. So what I think that means is that a lot of the traffic that is coming to website is coming with a higher intent and a higher likelihood to convert. Sorry. Sorry, moving on. So what can we do about it? A lot of the things in the new SEO world have not changed. You can see this overlap between the traditional SEO and the new AI search. There's still an overlap in the middle, which is all the fundamentals that we knew about and were important for search. If it's about authenticity, expertise, experience, trustworthiness, all the things that AI platforms care about, it's the same things that Google cared about, and they still continue to be very, very important. So a lot of things that we did, we should continue doing, because that's where it differentiates between machine-generated content and what people do, and where people have unique viewpoints. And that's what people want to read. Also, Duda's here and has your back. We're investing a lot in the things underneath the hood that are important for these AI platforms. Just a second. We invested in integration with Index Now to support fresh new content on ChatGPT. So every time your website gets updated, we notify Index Now, and that lets the ChatGPT crawler makes him aware that the content has been updated. We make sure that your sites load fast. You know that Duda does very well in terms of Core Web Vitals, and we continue to make sure that the sites load fast, which again, super important for AI crawlers. We automatically generate sitemaps for content discoverability. We have an integration with Google Search Console to help with indexing for Google. And we make sure that the sites, we use server-side rendering, meaning that all the HTML is available for the crawlers to index very easily. And last thing is we create a lot of schemas. If it's local business schema, FAQ schemas, and product schemas for LLMs to understand the content on your website. Last thing, one of the things that we're really excited to announce today is that we are releasing the automatic generation of LLM.txt. So it's the same, very similar to that robot.txt file that you're used to from the traditional SEO. We're now generating LLM.txt files that are already in use by platforms like Claude and Cursor. And from what we're being told, a lot of the other AI platforms are going to support them very, very soon. So this is the file that explains to the crawlers the structure of your website. So the role of the website, while it's evolving, will continue to stay as important than ever. Websites remain the anchor of a brand's identity, credibility, and conversion funnel. And the source of authentic and trustworthy content for LLMs. But now Duda also takes care to make sure that the data is structured and in schemas for the crawlers to read. Lastly, Duda helps SMB websites be found. Just a second. Okay, so let's move to the next section. What's next for agency and AI for productivity? If discoverability is how we win, productivity is how you scale profitably. Duda's AI journey started a couple of years ago. As soon as OpenAI released ChatGPT in November 22, we were right at it, and we started developing our first AI assistant. Initially, it was a writer assistant, and we released it a couple of months later in May 23. By August 23, we released our AI SEO assistant, which is one of our most popular assistants. In between April and November of last year, we released our AI-generated sections and pages. And in February 25, you were also already able to create full sites with AI and AI-powered content collection forms. Today, 45% of all new site builds on Duda are using at least one of Duda's AI assistants. So what's coming next? Today, I want to introduce 3 new capabilities. 1, create a site from file, which allows you to upload a PDF or Word doc, and that will be turned automatically by our assistant into a site. Number 2, we are going to we're releasing AI Widget Builder, which allows you to create native Duda widgets without needing to know how to code. And number 3 is an agentic AI and MCP server that allows you to create sites and maintain sites externally to Duda from tools like Claude, Cursor, and others. So for the first create site from file, I want to invite Tal Levy to show us our first demo. Hey Tal, how are you?
Hi everyone, can you see me?
Yes, we can see you well.
Okay, great. So I'm really excited to be here. My name is Tal, I'm a product manager at Duda, and I'm going to share with you 2 different AI features that are coming very soon to the platform and will help you with all of your content creation. So just a few months ago, we started to speak with different, can you see my screen?
I don't think we can see your screen yet. Tala, did you do the present screen?
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it another try. Can you, yeah, something's coming up. Yeah, now we can see it.
Okay, great. So a few months ago, we started to speak with a lot of agencies about their content creation process and to understand how we can make it much more efficient. And if I have to summarize it into only 4 steps, it begins with an interview with the client. You need to learn about their business, understand what is their offering, what is their unique value, and what they want their website to actually achieve. So then you summarize it into a brief, so you have it documented for yourself and that you can share it with the team that's going to work on the website, so they can prepare the design and the relevant content. Based on that, the content is crafted, and there can be many different tools that you use to actually create the content and collaborate on it, whether it's different AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude, and maybe you even have your own custom GPTs already integrated into your workflow. You have different SEO tools to allow you to understand which keywords you should target, making sure the content actually converts, and then maybe different collaboration tools, because you want your clients to review the content in Google Doc and make some comments before you actually build the website or share it with your team members. And then when it's finally crafted and prepared, you start to build the website on Duda. And even there, you have different tools that allow you to create a website, whether it's using your own custom template to kind of recycle the same layouts and design, or maybe build it widget by widget on a blank website, or even generate a site today. So for every agency, the process is actually very different, and everyone uses a different set of tools to create the content and prepare for it. But there is something that is common among everyone, and that is that you need to eventually import that content that you created into Duda, make sure that it's presented on the design. So that's really aligned also with the data that we see. 65% of the text changes on websites today in Duda are done using copy-paste. So what we want to do is really allow you to continue to work the way that you want to work with any tool that you'd like and in any workflow that works for you, but faster. That's why we're introducing today 2 new features that will allow you to transform a text file, whether it's with prepared content or whether it's with just a high-level brief, into a beautiful website on Duda. So I'm going to share with you now a document that has content for 5 different pages for a site called Bloom Gardening. So you can see here, the website has a homepage, about us, services, upcoming workshops, and contact us. The document actually details what exact content should go on the website, meaning we need to design something in Duda and then import all of that content in. It's a lot of clicks and a lot of going back and forth between that document and the platform. And we want you to allow you to focus in one workspace. So moving to Duda, here you can see a site that I already started to build. I started from the hotel template, maybe you're familiar with it, and I already swapped out all of the images on the site using the media panel by just dragging and dropping in images. So just like that. Now I want to do this with text as well, so I don't have to go back and forth between that document and the website, and I can just see it side by side. So let's look at the new feature that is going to be released very soon. I will go to the content library, open the site text, and here I will have a new option to upload my content file. I will upload the file that I just showed you, Bloom site content. And I will specify that this document has content for multiple pages. Now I will allow AI to analyze it and make sure that all of the pages are broken down into different documents so that I can see the content per page in a side-by-side to my design in this panel. It will take a few more seconds, and then we'll see what we can do with it. Okay, great. So now I can see that it analyzed correctly all of the 5 pages: home, about us, services, our workshops, and contact us. I can navigate between the pages to view the content of each one. And then, as you can see, all of my text on the canvas are still from that template of the hotel, and I want to update it to the one of the gardening. So I can just drag and drop to replace the content very easily. I don't need to go back to the document in Google Docs and highlight the content, copy paste it inside. I can just view it within the editor and replace quickly all of the text on my website. It's so efficient. Now it can be the different blocks that are highlighted, but I can also just partially select some text and drag it in. As you can see, it's also maintaining the same design as the widget. We're not changing it for you since that's how you wanted it to look like. But if there is some formatting, we will maintain that, so you don't have to change it in the widget, like these italics. So I can continue to do this. And of course, not every template will be the same exact structure as your content. So if, for example, you have something missing and you need to add a new widget, instead of going to the widgets panel, adding a new text widget, and then pasting in the content, you can just drag and drop it in, and it will add the widget in the same heading as specified in the document. So if this is an H2, it will also be added as an H2. And if I'm going to add that paragraph below, it will be added as a paragraph. So I can quickly just go through all of the content, and it will be just so much faster than, again, going back and forth through that document and the editor. So in this case, I had a template that had a kind of a similar design to what I wanted. I could just maybe change the layout a bit, duplicate a few sections and columns, replace the media and the text, and voila, I have a website. But sometimes, in some cases, I don't have a template or an existing website that I can replicate and use to create a brand new website to accommodate that content that I prepared. So let's take a look at another example. Here you have content for Surfer 97, they're a surfing club. So again, I have 5 different pages with content, and now I don't have a better starting point like I did with the other template, and I need to create a custom design for me. So this brings me to the other feature that we've created, Start from File. So a new option will be added for you in the dashboard, and when you click on it, you'll notice the very similar pop-up as before, where I can upload a file. I will upload this Surfer 97 file. And now I will have 2 different options to choose from. So the first option will tell us that you would like us to extract the content from that document and use it as a base for a generated site. So this is very useful if you have a high-level brief that kind of details what the business is about, what are the services, target audience, the contact details maybe mention a few page names that should be in the website. And it will use all of those details to generate a site based on the context that was provided. But the other option is what I'm going to use now, and that's to really generate a design and preserve all of the text in the site, in the document that were specified. So it's basically generating a layout that can accommodate that content. I will again specify that this file has multiple pages and let AI analyze it. To begin with, it's only going to really just analyze the business name and the type and kind of provide me a brief that I can review to make sure that it got all the information correctly. Then I will be able to just modify it if necessary or continue to generate my site. So in a second, it will appear in the wizard and we can see what it understood. So we see that it got the name correctly, Surfer 97, and it's a surf school and community. Great. I can continue to just go through this brief and see that it got all of the information correctly. And again, I can just go next. I can upload a logo and use even a customized color palette based on it, or I can choose from my presets. I will go with the blue since it's very suitable for surfing. And I will choose this font set, and okay. So now it's continuing to analyze the file and really understand what pages it contains. And then for each page, it's going to break it down into different sections, like hero, about us, team, testimonials, contact us, everything that is found on the page. For every one of these sections, it's going to really look for the best fitting section layout that we have in Duda, so we can build a layout that can accommodate that content. In a second, it will show me the breakdown of all of the pages, and we can see whether it got it correctly. Great. So I see the home page, about us, contact us, our classes, and services, just as we specified in the file. For each one of these pages, the sections will load in a bit. We can review whether it got it correctly and whether we need to fix anything. In the sitemap, I can also just move sections around if I want to, so I don't have to go page by page. I just have a good overview of all of the pages and sections. I can delete or duplicate sections, and as well for the same pages. I can go through the names if I want to rename anything now. And yeah. So I see that all of my site is generated, and based on what I know from the file, this looks very accurate. Let's look at the design. So now I see that it generated a really nice looking design, but I want to make sure that it actually covers all of the content that I have in the file. So here in the left panel, I can see all of the text that was extracted from the file, specifically for the homepage that I'm viewing now. So I can see that the hero has the exact text here on the left. So this is good. If we continue, we can see in the services, again, 3 different items and the title and description. We can see 3 different testimonials with the title, exactly the same text, a call to action section, just as specified, and then 4 different FAQs. So it looks pretty good and accurate. And if I want to make some slight modifications, I can do so here, and I can, of course, just do it later on in the editor as well. So if I am not satisfied with this maybe specific hero layout, I can go to the sections panel and browse through all of the hundreds of sections that we've designed for you. I can select something that I like better, like this one, and now it will change the layout of that specific section, but maintain the same content that I provided. So it's just trying different designs without working too much. And if I don't like maybe this video, I can just regenerate it for that specific section. All of these actions I can do both on a section level and also a page level. So again, if I don't like the entire design of the page, I can just regenerate the page and it will change all of the layout, but still maintain that content that was extracted from the file. And if I don't like any of the images and the videos, I can also just regenerate it on the page level. I can also review all of the prompts that actually built each section and make some slight modifications if I want to the content. So if I'm satisfied, again, I can continue to review the rest of the pages that were also built for me, of course. But I can also just continue to the editor with the homepage and review those pages later. We can also see that the About Us looks pretty good and on spot. But let's continue with the homepage and we can deal with it later. So now in the editor, again, if I want access to those texts that were exported from the file, I can just go to the content library as I showed you before. And they will all be here, so I can continue to compare or make some edits. And that's it. So thank you, everyone. And back to you, Itai.
Quick question for you. When is this going to be available for everyone?
So it's going to be launched very soon. I can say that even next week, a lot of the users will already be receiving it in production, and we'd love to hear the feedback.
Okay. And just to make sure, what file types are supported?
So any text file is supported, PDF, Word, TXT, Markdown. I highly recommend to use docs just because it gives the best results, but any text file is possible.
Cool. And I'm sure a lot of people are asking, can I generate a website based on the transcript of a call that I do with a client? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, so we've even tested that option and it works pretty well. So I think you can even make your content creation process even faster by just exporting that transcript from the initial interview and showing the client something initial just to get them excited. And then, of course, you can continue to make those fixes and adjustments.
Awesome. I'm sure I see already a lot of excitement here on the chat from people seeing this feature. So what's planned next?
Well, there's a lot. We're not stopping here when it comes to content creation, and there's a lot that we're already working on that's coming next. I won't say much, but it's very exciting.
Okay, cool. We'll stay anxious to see what comes up next. So thank you, Tal, for the time and the amazing demo. Super exciting.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Cool. Next, I want to invite Roni Shapiro, Duda's VP of Engineering. And Roni is also going to show us some really exciting stuff related to the AI widget builder.
Hi, Ty. How are you? Thank you. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. We've worked on this quite a lot, and it is exciting. So AI for the widget builder. So if you're not familiar with the widget builder itself is not a really new feature, but we've added some really, really nice enhancements to it. So if you're not familiar with the widget builder, the widget builder allows you to build your own widgets and put them in the left panel. If you're familiar with the HTML widget, imagine something much more powerful. You can, it's a full development platform. You can write JavaScript, CSS, HTML. You can put it in your left panel and reuse it across all your sites. The cool thing about it, you can configure design and content tabs and put in dynamic content and design. So it's a really powerful feature. It comes in with a versioning mechanism and management, so you can really control what you're doing. We've seen it used quite a lot over the past few years. We've seen customers use it to build very specific widgets with a specific design. So if you don't like our list widget and you want something for yourself, you can build something really custom. We've also seen a lot of integrations to all kinds of external services, weather, stocks, and all kinds of vendors and providers. And we've seen a lot of much deeper integration into data. So working with our JavaScript API to pull data from collections, from stores, from content library, building filters and building all sorts of dynamic views on top of data. So we've seen quite a lot of different use cases. But to be honest, the widget builder has quite of a learning curve. First of all, you need to learn how to code. Then you need to learn a little bit about the Duda documentation, how to style widgets correctly, how to use the API. So there is some learning to do. But now with the era of AI, it became so easier. So what we've done is we've trained our own specialized coding AI agent to build widgets for you. So basically, with a very simple prompt, you can build very strong and rich widgets you can publish and use without even writing a single line of code. The nice thing about it is it's not like a generic AI coding tool. It's really specialized on the Duda ecosystem and platform, so it already knows all of the Duda documentations and internals. So it's really made for that, and it does a really nice work. And even if you're already familiar with the widget builder and you already build a handful of widgets, it will be a huge time saver. So I'm going to stop with the slides and just jump right in for the demo. So the widget builder can be found under custom assets. So here is my widget dashboard. I can see all of my widgets, their status, their versions, and even some stats about installations. And when I click on build a new widget, I have this new option that came a few hours ago to beta, build with AI. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to give my widget a name. I'm going to start building. And when I go into the widget builder editor, I have this new chat coming up. I'm going to close it for a minute just to go over the tool for those who don't know it. So here I write my HTML code. It's not really HTML. It's handlebars or mustache. It's kind of like a template engine where I can inject variables so I can make my widgets dynamic and not with static content. JavaScript to make my widget interactive, and CSS to make it look nice. And if I also want to design content and design tabs, I can add in inputs like texts and drop downs and all kinds of options. And each one of these inputs has a variable where I can later use in my HTML or JavaScript to create dynamic widgets. And in the design, I can also allow design options like rounded corners and all of the other design options you are already familiar in Duda. But now I'm not going to do anything manually. I'm gonna hit the AI assistant, and I'm gonna build something that we don't have yet. So I'm gonna choose a video gallery. There is a prompt. I'm gonna let it already start thinking. And basically what we're doing is we can feed the AI assistant a prompt. We can also upload an image if we already have some design ready. And what the AI assistant will do is it's going to create a plan on how to build that widget. It's going to analyze the prompt, and based on everything it knows about Duda, it's gonna build a widget for me. So it's gonna outlay the HTML structure, the CSS styling, the JavaScript, content, and design. And the cool thing about it is we've trained it based on what we know as the best practices. So the widgets come out of the box responsive, SEO friendly, accessibility, performance, all of the stuff we've learned over the years. We've trained this AI assistant, so widgets should be fairly functional from day one. So we're going to give it another second or two. And yeah, we got the results. I'm going to close it and see what we have. So nothing in the design yet, but when I click on the HTML, I already see some code generated for me. So I can see we have like a loop over videos. It's a gallery, so I need more than one. There is some divs, a source. This is going to be my video element, a title, date, and no JavaScript yet, CSS. And in the content, this is how variables are going to be set in. So I have this list component, and for each list item, there is a title, a date picker, and a video picker. And let's see how this widget looks. I'm going to hit preview. And yeah, we can see a pretty nice video gallery. When I click on it, I can see that it's hopefully it's functional. I'm going to select a video for the first one. I'm going to set the title, video number 1. Let's make sure the second, all of them work as well. So okay, looks pretty neat. It's pretty functional with the prompt within 3 minutes of work, but maybe I want to make it a bit richer. There are almost no design options. So I'm going to close the preview. I'm going to go back to the widget builder, and I'm going to try to enhance it a bit. So I'm going to ask it, add design options so I can style my title and dates. So now what it's going to do is going to analyze it again. And the AI assistant doesn't only remember like the history of the conversation, it also has the full context of the widget code, so it can learn it and extend it, which also means you can use the AI assistant on existing widgets to make them better, which is really, really cool. So here's the plan it came up with, and it's done. So let's see what it came up with. So now in the design editor, I see two components for text styling. One is targeting the video title. The other one is targeting the video date. These are the same selectors I hope to see in my HTML. So looks like it does a pretty decent job. Let's make sure it's actually working. So now when I click on design, I see these two new design components. When I click on font color, I see the font changed. You can make underline. Let's verify the date is working as well. We can change the font family. We can change the color. We can also, of course, choose one of the theme colors. So basically, it did a pretty good job. Let's try one more thing. Let's try to add a button for each video item. Let's say we want every video to link to one of the pages we have to get some more information. So again, it analyzes the prompt. It already knows all the code, and it should know exactly where to put it. But a button is a bit trickier because we want the buttons to look exactly like any other buttons of the site. It shouldn't invent like something very custom. I hope these buttons will look like any other button. And Duda has documentation on how to do it. And this is where the AI is pretty smart. It uses the Duda-specific HTML documentation to generate these buttons. So now when I hit preview, I will see a button that is styled as most of the Duda buttons, exactly like the Contact Us. And if it's even smarter than that, it also added a link picker that for each item, I can link this video to a page. So not a bad job for 5 minutes of work. I think before the AI era, it probably would have taken me a day at least, and I'm pretty handy with the widget builder. So once I'm ready, I can hit publish, and this will be available to all my sites. When I go to general, I can make this widget available to all my team. I can upload an icon, and just to close the loop, I'm going to go to the home page, click on one of the sites, and yeah, I have this widget in my left panel. So Yeah, pretty good for 5 minutes in a single prompt. So I think that's it. Back to you, Itai.
Ronnie, this is absolutely amazing. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of people here that are listening into this. Maybe folks that up until today were not that comfortable with code that can now go ahead and play around with it and start building widgets on Duda.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to see what our creative customers will come up with.
Cool. So when is this going to be available?
So the widget builder was available only to our custom plans up until today. Since starting today, a few hours ago, this AI assistant came out of beta. And since it's much more, let's say, accessible to all our customers, we've made this available to agency and white label plan as well. So this is starting from a few hours ago, right now.
Wow, that's getting Christmas early. What exciting news! So thank you, Ronnie, and I'm sure there's so many other things that you could have shown us that can be built, but we'll let people discover themselves.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Itai.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Okay, for the last part of this section, and also a very, very exciting demo, we're going to have Amir Glatt, Duda's co-founder and CTO. Hey, Amir, what's up?
Hey, Ty, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, so after Ronnie's demo, it's going to be difficult to up the bar. Are you ready for that challenge?
So the bar is pretty high, and the widget builder AI is a project that is close to my heart. But I will try to do my best with the next demo.
Okay, so take it away.
Great. So can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the next topic that I want to talk to you about is agentic AI and MCP server. So before going into a demo, let's talk a little bit what is agentic AI. So obviously, AI, as we all know, in the last 3 years, made a lot of progress. We started with what we call traditional AI, one-shot response to a prompt, mainly asking questions, asking a chat questions and getting answers. Then it went into assistive AI, step-by-step help. I think some of our early AI features of Duda, generating image alt text or generating text, was a good example of that. And now the world is working, going towards agentic AI, which is like a self-directed loop. You have a goal, you have a plan, and then you act and adapt, and you let AI to do a lot of things for you, not just one action. And part of agentic AI was to allow AI tools to actually do things on top of systems. And there was a lot of debate in the industry, what's the best way to give AI or LLMs the permission to do things on top of systems. And then came the concept of MCP and MCP servers. So what is MCP? MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It's an open standard that allows AI tools to securely connect to external platforms and resources. You can really think about it as API for LLMs, for AI clients. And MCP, it came up from the company behind Claude, Anthropic. But then quickly afterwards, other companies, other leading companies like the idea and are going to support it. Here you can see a post from Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, and ChatGPT that they're going to add support to it. It's already supported in Cursor and others. So great. So we have this protocol, and Duda, we jumped on the opportunity to introduce that. And now I'm going to introduce the Duda MCP server, which is really putting the power of AI to work for your business directly from Claude, Cursor, and beyond. So Duda's MCP server makes it possible for AI tools to take real action on the Duda platform. So you can work smarter, you can save time, you can differentiate your offering and stay in control because you can do so much directly from AI clients. And maybe I'll just gonna show you how it works. So first of all, starting also today, Itai talked before about Christmas coming early. So another thing is that if you go today to your account settings page on Duda and you are on agency plan and app, you will see at the bottom of the page a section that is called Model Context Protocol. And here you will see like the URL of the Duda MCP server. You take this URL, you copy it, and then you install it on the tool that you want to use with. If it's Claude, if it's Cursor, soon I think it will be also available in ChatGPT, and you can start working on it. Now I did it already, and I want to show you how it works. So let me open my Claude. This is Claude. For those of you who are not familiar, it's very similar to ChatGPT, AI chat that can do lots of stuff. What I did before, I installed the Duda MCP, and when you can see that here, if I'll go here and show you like the different tools, there is a tool called Duda. This is the Duda MCP, and we have like 60 different tools or capabilities that Duda is basically providing together with this MCP that allows you to do so many things on your Duda platform. So let me start to show you like a few of the stuff that we can do. So let's say first now for the first part of this demo that I work on an agency and I'm responsible for SEO, content creation, e-commerce store management for our clients. So I can start asking things. So I can start with a question like, show me the last Duda sites I created. So now Claude will try to answer this question, and it will use the Duda MCP. It will decide which tool from Duda to use. You see it chose to use the list sites tool. Now it's getting information from Duda and can respond. So these are the most recent sites that I have. You can see all those sites. And for this demo, we want to work on the pet store demo site, which is a pet store site that I created before from a Duda template, nothing special about it. So now, let's say that I want to now manage content and the blog for this website and have a new blog post published for the pet store demo. So I can ask Claude something like, does site has a blog? And it will check if we have already a blog up and running on this website. It's checking list blog posts to see if like there is a blog available, and it's saying yes. The site has a blog, and these are the current posts that we have. Top tips for traveling with your dog care on a budget. Great. Now, let's say that I want now to research which blog posts I should write. So based on the current posts and trends for dog owners, suggest few blog post ideas. So now this is not related to Duda. I'm just like now using like the power of AI tool for that. So it's searching the web, and let's see which type of ideas it can suggest to me. Okay, based on current trends on your existing blog post, here are a few trends: mental health and enrichment, DIY dog enrichment activities. Is your dog anxious? 10 calming enrichment activities that actually work, and so on. And I can just choose. So let me just copy this idea. And now I can say, create a blog post, publish it, and give me the URL. The topic should be make the post short but engaging, and use few images in the post. All right, so now it's going to create the blog post for me. So just think about it, you as kind of like agency owners, if you are offering content services and SEO services, how much more easily it can be for you to provide those services using such a tool. So you can really automate the entire thing. And of course, you can provide more information and more how to make it like, to rank higher, which keywords, which topics to cover, and so on. And you don't need to work hard to do that. It can really like do it for you. You can see it's now calling the create blog post tool from Duda. It's generating like the content, and great, the blog post has been created. let me publish it. Now it's publishing the post for me. You can really understand what does it mean agentic AI in this context. And perfect, it did it. Here is the URL. We can check the URL. Let's see. So I can take the URL and go to my browser over here and see what it did. Oops, something is wrong with the URL. Okay, it's a demo. Oh, he added a blog here that is not needed. He was wrong with the URL. Let's try it like that. Okay, great. Is your dog anxious? And it's creating like, a blog post for me that I can later on kind of like continue and edit. So that's great. So we saw how like to create like, blog posts. Now let's say that I want to manage my store here and make sure that like my prices are correct. So let's say I can ask, show me the products of my site. So we have a great integration with Duda native e-commerce here. And you can see that it's now listing like the store products. So it will show me all the different products that I have on my pet store website. And here I got like, these are the products that we have. We have sleep categories with those products, walk category, play category, and product summary. Now let's say that we want to put like the play category items on sale. So I can ask, can you put the play category products on sale, give them 25% discount. Okay, so now it will go product by product inside the play category and just change the prices for them. And think about it, like I could do now things, I'm not doing it now in the demo, but I could do things like research, what's the best prices compared to competitors. I can add more products. I can optimize like, product descriptions. So I can do really like lots of stuff. There you see it's doing it. It's updating like the price for the products that we have. We will give it some time to run. And then let's see if it did a good job. So these are all the products in our play category, updating each of them one by one. It can work. While it's working, you can do something else, of course. Perfectly, successfully put all the product on sale. It's giving me all the information in a really, really nice way. And yeah, it's done. So if I'll go to my site and go to the store, this is like the play category, I should be able to see that each product is now discounted by exactly 25%, which is really cool, making managing a store much easier, and I can do all of that. Great. So now let's go here and start like a new chat. And this time, now I'm not anymore like the SEO and content specialist. Now let's say that I'm running the site and I want to see statistics and sales data. So I have a site, actually it's my friend's site called Speed of Sound, that is selling speakers and microphones and headphones. It's pretty successful, selling quite a lot. And now I want to know, for example, how much money I did. So I can ask something like, for my Duda site, Speed of Sound, COIL, how much money I made yesterday. So now what Claude will do, it will use our tool to get orders, store orders. So first is getting the site details to find out what's the information behind Speed of Sound COIL. He found it. Now it's listing the store orders to get orders information, and will try to give me an answer. And think about that. You can do it for store orders. You can do it for site stats, visits. You can do it for site activities. You can do it for form responses. So any type of data and analytics data that Duda is providing, you can do it using our MCP server. And here I got a really great result that my friend made 3,000 shekels yesterday, and these are the orders that he got. And I can ask for more reports and so on. So I can really take it more and more. So now let's do another demo. I'll start a new chat. And now what I want to show you is now I'm not anymore the site owner. Now I'm an operations manager in an agency. So operations manager that needs to like take care of like, the operation of like getting orders of new clients, creating sites for them, getting them like, the permission to access the site and edit and so on. So now I want to show you the power of connecting several MCP servers together. I showed you before that I added Duda MCP server, but I also added Jira. So for those of you who don't know Jira, Jira is like a Monday or like Asana. It's a project management tool. And here is my Jira. And I'm managing, in my agency, I'm managing clients through Jira. And you can see here I have a board and I have like 2 tasks that are in to-do status. So the first one is create a plumber website for this client. It's a new client that we got. And the second task is create a photographer website for this client. So, and now what we want typically is to create those webs, to find the right templates, create a website for the clients, assign them a site, get them a welcome URL, updating the Jira board, all of this work that like I'm sure that some of you are doing on a daily basis. So now let's see how MCP is helping us. So now I'm just going to copy the instructions that I have that I prepared before, and I'll let it run. And while it is running, I'll explain you what I'm asking. So I'm asking Claude to go over the items in my Jira project that is called Amir's Customers. And for each item, I want to decide which Duda template is most suitable based on the vertical, to create a Duda site based on the template, to create a client based on the customer email, to assign the client to the site, to create a welcome URL, to add a comment with the site alias and welcome URL to the client, and to set the task to done in Jira. So all of that, imagine what does it mean to do all of that today. It's either like you're working manually and this is a lot of work for just a single one, or you need to like have developers building on top of APIs, expensive project. And it's also like anytime that you want to make a change, you need like to ask the developer to spend more time. So now I can just like, write it in plain English and let like, the MCP run. So it's doing it. Look what it's doing. It's like kind of like, it's looking at the Jira project. It found the tasks, is checking list templates of Duda to see which template is best. It's going to create a photographer website, creating a site for it, creating the client account, granting site access, creating welcome URL. Now it's adding comment to Jira, and then marking the task as done in Jira, doing all of that for me. And once it will finish like the first site, it will just move. Yeah, now it's moving like to the next one, to the plumber website. So now I'm just like showing here like 2, but imagine that you have, I don't know, 50 of those. It can just like do it for you and run for you in the background. And while it's doing like the second site, let me go back to my Jira and just refresh it. And we can see that the first task is already done. And if I'll open it, I can see that like it added a comment that the site created successfully. This is the site alias. This is the welcome URL that now I can send to the client to go and edit the website. This is the template that you decide to use. And this is like the client account. And indeed, if I'll go like to this site alias and I'll go to my Duda dashboard and search for it. So I can see here that like, indeed a site was created for a photography that I can now, I don't know, move to design or to the next step. And it's all working great for me. And now we also like, finished like, the second site, and it was all automated. So going back to the presentation. Really with the Duda MCP server, it allows you to empower every role with AI. So it's great for operation teams, like I showed you. It's great for support reps who needs to get like, information and send them like, to the client. It's great for marketers and content teams that can create pages and blog posts and business updating content library and business information. It's great for site owners who wants to get analytics and so on. So everyone can enjoy it, and it's available today for all of you from agency plan and up, and you can all use it today. So this is available today. But now I just want to show you something very cool that we are working on and going to be available for all of you in several weeks, which is the Duda Copilot. So when we looked at all of that, we said, okay, this is amazing, but we think that like many of our users would like to use those type of capabilities within the Duda platform without using an external tool like Claude that I showed you today. So that's exactly what we are doing. And let me just give you like a very sneak peek on like, what we are working on. So let me copy here. Oopsie. Where am I? Okay. So now let me just copy this link here and go to the site overview of the site that we just like were working on the pet store demo. So here, what you can see now is that I have here this new icon, similar to what you saw before in the widget builder demo. And when I open it, it opens like a chat interface that allows me to do everything you saw before and more. So first, it's like it knows the context because you're inside Duda, so it already knows what is the site that we are talking about here. You don't need to provide to them. Second, in terms of like, you don't need to install anything. It's part of like your Duda platform. You just log into Duda and you have it. And you can do different things. So I'm just going to show you like, two things. First, I can ask it like, what can you do? And it will now think for a second and give you kind of like, the list of like all the things that it can do for you. So here we can we get like a great summary. This is a dynamic summary. Whenever we'll add more capabilities, this will be updated as well. So you can see it can help you with website creation and setup, with content management, with design and layout, with blog and news management, with e-commerce, with SEO and analytics, client and team management, site publishing, forms and leads, and also advanced features. So really a lot of stuff. One last capability that I want to show you here is ability to use collections. So for those of you who know collections, this is a great way to display a lot of dynamic content, but it takes time to build it. So let's say that now in my pet store demo, I want to show, to create a dynamic page showing different type of dog breeds with information about them, and maybe like what type of food like is better for them and what type of toys and so on. So what I can do here, I can just ask something like that. Create a collection about dogs breeds that I will later display in a dynamic page and fill it with 5 rows of data. So now AI is going to do it for me. So it's going to create an internal collection for my site and fill it with data. So let's typically it takes like, I don't know, a few seconds to run, but it will do all of that for me. And here it is. Your dog breed collection has been created with the following fields: name, image, description, country, and so on. And everything is done. It gives me like now contextual buttons to do that, to see what's happening. And if I'll click here now on edit site, it will take me to the editor. And if I'll go now here to the content and collections, now I'll see like the dog breeds with 5 items that was filled for me. And of course, I could give him like, more exact information to do that. So it's really saving so much time from here to show it on a dynamic page is a piece of cake. So we are working on it on the Duda AI Copilot. We're going to launch first in the dashboard and the site dashboard later, and soon after it will be launched also like in the editor. We are going to add more capabilities, design capabilities, content capabilities. And my assumption is that, let's say, in a year from today, all of you will say, how could I work before I had like the Duda AI Copilot? It's going to be addictive. So that's it. And back to you, Itai.
Amir, thanks. That was amazing. And and I, by the way, while you were doing it, I already went and I decided what I'm going to get you for Christmas. It's going to be a coffee maker with APIs, so you can get your agentic AI to also brew your coffee at the end of all these things. So I already know what you're getting. Anyway, that was simply fantastic. So I think you covered you covered a ton of stuff. There were some questions. Again, can you clarify which clients today support the MCP?
Yeah, so Claude is supporting the MCP. Just want to say that like the free version of Claude will not take you a lot because like it's pretty limited in terms of how much it can use, but the paid version is great. Cursor is supporting the MCP, which is working great. For those of you on custom plans, you can use the token and use it with API, OpenAI API, if you want to build your own application or anything like that. And we know that both Gemini and ChatGPT are working on it, and it's going to be supported soon on those platforms as well.
That's great. Well, Emil, thank you very much. That was like super, super exciting stuff.
Great. Thanks, Itai, and good luck with the rest of the presentation.
Okay. Anton, can you put my slides back? Okay. Cool. So switching kind of to section 3 in the presentation. You know that Duda has been pushing kind of the narrative of transactional websites, where we strongly believe that today's websites have to be transactional. They have to be driving real ROI, real value. We believe in websites that take payments, websites that are selling products or services, subscriptions, all that. And I think also very tied to what we just saw with AI, there's so much expectation now that agencies have to elevate themselves and do more sophisticated websites. So some of the features that we're now going to be announcing are related to this area of making your websites more actionable. The first feature that we will show is an advanced form widget that allows you to add business logic into your forms and so forth. And in a second, I will ask Liron to come and present that. And the second capability that we're announcing today is Duda's own native booking solution that would allow you to create and maintain appointments on behalf of your customers. So I know both of these capabilities have been widely asked for. They have appeared in our idea board for a long time. And I'm glad to announce that these are going to be natively available through Duda. You do not need to go and pay a third party for those. You will be able to get all those from Duda. So starting with the first demo, I want to invite Liron Chorev to demo the advanced form widget.
Hi, Ty. Hi, everyone. Very excited to be here. I'll just share my screen in a second. Okay, so yeah, we are talking about the advanced form widget. And advanced form widget, as Itai said, is part of us continuing to provide you what you are asking for, what you need, and empowering you to create a beautiful, high converting website. So not only beautiful, also converting. And it's also us moving forward with the flexible approach. And what is the flexible approach? We are now developing a powerful design components by combining the flex elements that you all know. You all use Editor 2.0, of course, the sections and the columns in the inner columns. And we are streamlining design and enhancing the versatility that you can do with those containers. We already released 3 advanced widgets. One of them I know you all were very excited about, the mega menu, the accordion, and the tabs widget. And we see from the numbers yet, I can say that we met your expectation. I can say that you are using those advanced widgets to build the things that you need. Each widget is not similar to the other when we look at different sites. You are using different widgets in each advanced widget. So it's really cool to see that. And let's go back to our advanced form. So it's pretty easy to say, yeah, just by looking at Duda's idea board to see that more than 1K of you voted for us to build a better form. And this is actually what I'm going to demo today. So let's jump into the demo. So let's say that I'm an agency and I'm going to build a website to a company called Casa Luna. They have an event venue for weddings. I almost finished to design my site and now I want to add a form. So, I'll add a section. And I'll delete one of the columns, and now I'll add the form widget. But I'll choose the advanced form. Only by looking at the advanced form, you can already see that we have the advanced frame, we have steps, we have inner columns inside, and we have a new input, a new widget that is actually an input. Now, I want to build not a simple form. I want to ask for a lot of questions because I actually want to build a wedding planner. So I want a lot of information. I want to break it to 3 different sections, and I'll show you how to do it very easily and very beautifully with the advanced form. Let's start with changing the title. So I'll change it very easily, remove what is not necessary. And now I'm going to add an inner column, and I'm going to stretch it, add another inner column. I'm going to add here the text that I want for my first section. So it will be the couple information. Description. And now I'm going to add another inner column. And to this inner column, I am going to drag the fields that I already have. I'm going to duplicate the email, change the content. I want it to be a phone number. Cool. I'll just fix some spacing here. Good. Now I'm going to add a divider. I'm going to change the color. And I have my first section. Now I can duplicate the section, the inner column, move it down, change the text in the description. And now I'll go to take care of the fields, delete it, the fields that I don't need. I'll change the label. And here I want a bigger field, doing it very easily. Now I want to copy the divider to add another section. Move it down, copy the section, and adapt the fields, the title, the different fields. I'll change the content, of course. Now I'll remove the unnecessary fields that I have, and I want to make my button a little bit smaller, so I'll change the size of my button, align it to the right, and the only thing that I need is to make it purple, so I'll just make it, yeah. And I have a beautiful form with 3 steps, a divider in the middle, different fields, and a button in the end. But let's say that my couple, not all the couples wants to leave all this information, but I want them to keep in touch and know what is new and what I have to offer. So I want to have also a one-line form that will offer them to register to my newsletter. Let's see how I do that. So I'll add another section. Again, remove one column and add the advanced form. I'll change the title. Remove the unnecessary text and fields. I'll change the direction of the, and I'll add the button. Now I'll make sure the size is correct. Change the content, and I want the field to be a little bit bigger. And some adjustment of the spacing. The background of my form. And this is it. Very simple. So I can build a very complex field with a form with 3 different sections, and I can create a very simple form only with one line of one field. Now, this is great because I have a lot of ways to design my contact form. But the advanced form is not only about contact form. We can take this ability and create different forms. For example, I can add a career page. And in this career page, I can use my form just to allow people to apply for a job. I can add another button, allow them to apply via LinkedIn, for example, choose the fields that they want. And here I have this new option. I can also, for example, if I want to get a feedback or review, I can, and this is actually also a form, but the fields are the stars. So I can easily fill the form that allow my customers leave a feedback or leave a review. But I know you all asking about multi-steps and logic. So let's look at the event page. You can see here a form that I already created. You can already see that this is a multi-step form. Why? Because the button is not saying submit, it's saying next. So let's see what will happen. Let's say that I'm going to get married this month, very soon. And I accept, I don't know, a little bit more than 100. Let's click on next. I have multiple steps. So this is the second step. I can go back, I can move to the next step. But the special thing that I have here in this step is the logic. You see only one question, but when I'll answer this question, I will get another question that is relevant to the answer I already gave. So let's say that I want a wedding experience of multi-day celebration. Now, the form is asking me about the budget range. If I would have choose other options, it would have changed the budget range according to the answer that I just gave. Let's say that I prefer not to discuss money right now. And let's click on next. And this is the final step, how we can see it, because the buttons automatically changed to back and submit. And this is the last step of the form. So we saw how we can easily build and design flexible contact forms, but we saw how this powerful advanced form allow us to use it for so many other use cases. Itai, back to you.
Leon, this is pretty amazing. I know a lot of people waited to see some of the features you showed here today. There was a question regarding the ability to accept payments within the forms. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I can say that this is our future. So when we look at the next capabilities that we want to add to the form, we're talking about payments, we're talking about booking. We also build this form, the structure, in a way it will support many AI capabilities. So imagine, for example, that in the next few, in the future, you will be able to say which form you want, and we will be able to create an initial form that is relevant for your needs using AI. So pretty cool stuff. It's not only payments, but
yeah. Okay, cool. And so from what we saw, from the features that we saw, when is the availability of that?
So hopefully we'll be able to release the first beta in the end of Q3. And we will continue to release more and more features until the end of the year and beyond that, as I said.
Okay, thank you so much, Liron.
Thank you.
And now for our last demo for today, I want to invite Jonathan to show us the new booking engine that his team has been working on. Hey, Jonathan.
Hi, Ty. How are you? Happy to be here today.
Yeah, well, take us away.
Okay, let's start by sharing the screen. Just want to make sure you can see it.
Yep, just
great. So we're going to talk about native booking, the upcoming big feature from the e-commerce group in Duda. And we are going to do booking with all the good that Duda offers you today. This is going to be a native feature in Duda, the technology, the product, the UX, and the support, all made by Duda, which will allow you to achieve design flexibility. And we will see this in the demo. We will support free and paid booking. I think I saw this question come up in the chat. So for you to know, we will support taking payments for appointments. And I think one of the most interesting points is a full support for all the Duda workflows. Think of working with templates, with sections, with client management, APIs, all the wonderful things that you can do with AI and that we saw in the demo today. Think of booking becoming a natural part out of these. And we will going to have the first version available for you guys around September this year. So let's switch for a sneak peek into how it's actually going to work. So you can see here, this is my Duda editor, and this is a pretty straightforward website with a contact form to book the free assessment. So this is something a lot of SMBs do. You know, they have this way to generate lead and to create a first free assessment, but let's replace the contact form with a booking widget. So we just click booking, it will add the booking widget to the website. And for now, it's just a placeholder. So let's also install booking in the website. And in the background, this will create the first appointment type and the first user that can be booked time with. And you can see that already the widget takes the design of the website. So let's go to the back office and start managing the configuration. We have this placeholder staff member, a person that people can book time with. And you can see that each one of them has their own availability. They can set, let's say they don't work Wednesday or they end up early, so they can configure this. And here we can see the connecting to clients. You want to make sure that your clients, the people who work for this business, can log in, can access, and can see their appointments, and of course, do all the configurations. So this offers you a very easy way to connect them and will give them the relevant permissions in the background. So let's save that and go to see how we manage the appointment types. So the first one, we wanted to do a free assessment that the business offers potential clients. So let's change the name. Here as well. Let's keep it 30 minutes duration. And the location, you can see we support many different types of locations, which location can be, a video call. Think of professional services like lawyers and others. But in this case, probably this cleaning services needs to go to the place of the customer. So we'll change it to custom attendee location. As I mentioned, we will allow to charge for appointments. I will not be able to show this today, but you can already see how it's going to look like. And let's save this and go back to the editor to see it live. So looking in the widget, I mentioned before it's getting the design theme of the website, but if for any reason I'm not happy with that, I can always switch to like a basic, more neutral design. But in this case, let's skip with the 21 and let's publish the website and we'll go to see it live. So we are now on the home page, on the live site. We can see the booking widget. We can choose a time, add the details. And create a booking. And we will see a confirmation screen. And this data will be also sent via email to the business, to the relevant person in the back office, and to the person, to the customer, the attendee, the person who set up the meeting, including the options to reschedule or cancel the meeting. Let's head back to the back office and see some other configurations that we can have. So we can see that we have the appointment here already, and this is part of the back office. Let's create another type of appointment, which is now it's going to be the actual service, the cleaning. And let's give this like a longer time, something like 3 hours. And we create that. Again, the location would be the attendee location. And let's look into some of the scheduling options that we have. So assuming this is like a big operation, you usually need to drive there and drive back. So let's give this person a bit of a buffer, meaning that they need to have 60 minutes free time before and 45 minutes when they come back. And let's say that no one can schedule this like in 2 hours notice because the business needs to get ready for that. And you can see how many more features we have here to manage how this will be scheduled. Let's save this. Let's go and add this in the relevant place in the website. We already have the deep cleaning page. Again, here we have an old contact form, and we will remove it and add a booking form. You can actually remove the entire column here. We also less of a need now of the contact details because people can just book time with this business. So let's now add another booking widget. It will add it automatically to the canvas. And now we just need to select which type of appointment will be offered here. So let's go content, deep cleaning. Let's see it change and update with all the parameters, and we can publish it. But before we head to the live site to check, let's see another nice thing we have here. Let's say the business wants to know, okay, whether this is like an office or a house. They need to use this in order to know how to get themselves prepared. So let's add a question here. Make it a select. Call it location type. Same label. And this can be a home, an office. And let's make it a required question. And let's add another very interesting feature, which is requires confirmation. This means that the appointment is created as a pending one, and then the business needs to approve it. For these kind of services, this is very obvious. And again, if we wanted to chart, we would go here and do that. So let's head back to the website. Let's go to the deep cleaning page. And we can see the booking widget here. Let's just select the time. And we can see we have this question here that we added, which is mandatory. So last thing we want to show, let's go back to the site overview. And the reason I'm showing that is because just to remind you that with Duda's very strong permission mechanism, you will be able, as agencies, as partners, to give clients access, for example, only to the booking section and not to the website editor. If you don't want them to change the design, you want them just to go in here, especially, think of you have a clinic or a barber shop with multiple users, they don't need to go into the website. And when they go here, they can do a very interesting thing, like connect their personal calendars. Let's say they want all their meetings to appear in the Google Calendar, and they also want to make sure that if they have a wedding or something, and they block some time in the Google Calendar, they don't get new appointments on that time. So you can see we can do the connection, and here the booking will know to check for conflicts, and also to add all the events to this calendar so you can see them from the phone, share them, etc. So that's it for the demo. Back to you, Itai.
Thank you, Jonathan. Very, very cool. And I saw there were questions here that were answered by the team. People were asking about integration of external calendars, and we will be supporting Outlook, Google Calendar, and Apple.
Correct.
Jonathan, when should people expect this to be available?
So around September this year.
Okay, that's great. And what will be the pricing of it?
So this will become part of our e-commerce plan, starting with $7 a month billed annually for a single team member, like we saw in the back office, and with more team members and more capabilities in the higher plans coming soon after the release.
Okay. Last question to you. How do you compare this to Calendly? I know a lot of comments there said, oh, I'm giving up Calendly, or where do the tools differ? Obviously, Calendly has been building their capabilities for a very long while.
Indeed, it's a good question. And I think we can point to three major benefits. First, I think the first thing we saw, how the widget is compatible with the site. It doesn't look like something that's not related to the site, to an external software. Everything is on brand. So that's one thing. Also think Core Web Vitals and loading time, everything comes from Duda, not from an external software. The second thing has to do with all the workflows we mentioned. Think of working with templates, working with API integration. Think of creating a custom template with appointment types to a vertical that you used to work with. Okay? And that can speed up the site creation, and then think of even further when we soon connect it with all the things Amir showed with the AI capabilities, how we can scale up agencies and partners' operation. And the last thing, and I think this is one of the major lessons that we saw from the native e-commerce that led us to the decision to develop Duda Booking, is how easy it for SMBs and for the agencies to support them when they work inside one product with a unified UX. You don't need to tell your customers, yeah, this on this login of like my editor, but yeah, to configure the appointments, go to the Calendly login. Everything is in one place. Reduce setup time, reduce support tickets, and have a better life with booking.
That's going to be super valuable. Thank you, Jonathan. Great demo. Really appreciate you showing us this. Okay, Anton, let's have the slides back. I know we are a little bit over time. I think we just need about 2 minutes to wrap this up. I did want to mention that all the features that we release in the past and everything new, that all the innovation that is coming out of Duda is always published on our product updates page. So go there, make yourself acquainted with that page if you haven't so. There's a lot of good material that is posted there. Awesome. So I feel like this is a wrap for today. From discovery to delivery, the agency of tomorrow needs to think about new tools, new thinking, having the right partner in place. And hopefully you choose Duda when that partner comes to mind. We're here to make sure that we're not just building amazing software, but we're making sure that you're enabled, not just for today, but for the future to come. So come talk to us, play around with the software that we just demoed, and let us know how we are doing. And thank you everybody for attending. It's going to be an awesome year. As you can see, we've leveraged AI in every way and shape possible. And there's still so much more that we want to build and release. So thank you, everyone, and have a good day.